Oh my god. My silly husband turned out to be a financial tycoon. In the middle of the night, Xiang Wan was tossing and turning due to the frequent knocking at the door. In a fit of anger, she threw off her blanket and opened the door. Who is it? The man standing in front of her wore a perfectly tailored suit, his chiseled face almost sculpted, with a sharpness in his dark eyes. In just half a year, you've forgotten that you have a husband. Shao Jin stepped past her and entered the room. It was then that Xiang Wan remembered who he was. Shao Jin, the man on the marriage certificate. Hello, Mr. Shao. Seeing him head towards the master bedroom and open the door, Xiang Wan hurriedly followed him. The master bedroom was clean and tidy, clearly well maintained. The bed was covered with a pink bedspread, which he swiftly lifted to reveal the four-piece bedding underneath. Xiang Wan hurried over and hugged her pink bedspread to her chest. Since Mr. Shao hasn't been staying here, I was worried about dust getting on your bedding, so I added a layer. Millimeter, do you have something else? Shao Jin asked, noticing that she hadn't moved. Good night, Mr. Shao. Xiang Wan closed the master bedroom door, returned to the guest bedroom, and locked it. The sound of the lock clicking was clearly audible to Shao Jin in the master bedroom. He didn't seem to mind and took out his phone to send a text. My wife, what is her name? A reply came quickly, Xiang Wan. Inside the guest bedroom, Xiang Wan lay on the bed, staring at the ceiling. 6 months ago. I've supported you through school, raised you, and every penny you earn should be for your parents. You're not paying your brother's mortgage, and when it comes to getting an arranged marriage, you act like it's the end of the world. Xiang Wan, you have to get married this month, and the dowry must be given to us for your brother's wedding. Her mother's sharp and caustic words echoed in her mind. The men her mother introduced for marriage all had some money, but none of them were appealing. Some were unattractive, others were remarried, or older, with a long list of requirements. In order to escape her family, she used dating websites to find potential suitors, but as soon as they heard about the 500,000 yuan dowry, they all ran away. Only Shao Jin didn't run, but he also had his own conditions. Xiang Wan, Mr. Shao, you agreed so quickly. You must have some requirements, right? Shao Jin, I want us to get the marriage certificate today, and I'll take you to meet my parents. Xiang Wan, I agree. Shao Jin, after we get the certificate, we'll sleep in separate rooms. The master bedroom is for me, and the other rooms are yours. If one day I want a divorce, you'll need to cooperate, but I'll give you a compensation package. Xiang Wan, no problem. Later, Xiang Wan met Shao Jin's parents at the hospital. She guessed it was because his mother was hospitalized, and Shao Jin wanted to put her at ease by getting married. She also only visited her own family once, dropping off the dowry of 500,000 yuan and some gifts before leaving. Since then, they hadn't been in touch for 6 months. Her family didn't even ask her when the wedding would take place, since organizing a wedding costs money, and her family wouldn't pay for it. To them, she was a married daughter who was no longer their concern. The day after getting the marriage certificate, Shao Jin said he needed to go on a business trip and wouldn't be back for a while. Xiang Wan was happy to be alone. In the 6 months that followed, they had never contacted each other, and even she, a face-blind person, had forgotten what her husband looked like. That night, Xiang Wan tossed and turned, unable to fall asleep. No matter how late she stayed up, her biological clock was regular, and she woke up at 5 in the morning. She opened the door, walked to the washstand in her pajamas, and then remembered Shao Jin came home last night. She quickly went back to her bedroom, changed clothes, and came out. As a senior class teacher, she needed to be at school by 6. Xiang Wan thought about it. Now that she was his wife, she had responsibilities to fulfill. She made 2 breakfasts and was eating when the door to the master bedroom opened. Chapter 2, You need to quickly have a grandchild. Shao Jin was still wearing the same sharp suit from yesterday, his deep-set eyes turning to her. Xiang Wan quickly put on an official smile. Good morning, Mr. Shao. Millimeter. Shao Jin adjusted his tie. He didn't like wearing the same clothes for 2 days. If he hadn't been unable to return home, he wouldn't have come here. Would you like breakfast, Mr. Shao? Xiang Wan had covered the food to prevent it from getting cold. She opened it, revealing a simple and nutritious breakfast. Millimeter. Shao Jin walked over and sat down. The atmosphere was a bit awkward. Xiang Wan quickly tried to start a conversation. "Oh, Mrs. Shao. I mean, how is your mother's condition?" At the cold look Shao Jin shot her, she realized she had used the wrong term and quickly corrected herself. "She passed away." "Xiang Wan, oh Xiang Wan. You really know how to bring up the wrong topic." "I'm sorry." The atmosphere grew even more awkward. "From now on, I'll be living here. Here's a credit card. You can use it for our living expenses. Spend as much as you need, I'll pay it back." Shao Jin pushed a card toward her. Xiang Wan thought for a moment. Although they weren't truly a couple, if they were going to live together, he should at least cover half of the living expenses. She nodded and took the card. Shao Jin watched her, his gaze growing more intense. He had met her parents, and their disdain for poverty and eagerness to please him had left a lasting impression. A family like that probably raised a daughter just like her. He gave her a card, and she eagerly accepted it. The reason he chose her was because her family was average, she was a teacher, and her life was simple. A person from such a family, no matter how greedy, wouldn't he be able to pull off any tricks? Unlike those rich daughters or families with complicated business marriages. "I'm off to work. Mr. Shao, you can enjoy your breakfast. I'll clean up when I come back." She always waited until after work to clean the dishes. After thinking for a moment, she felt awkward letting Shao Jin clean up her plate too. After all, they weren't close. When the door closed behind her, Shao Jin set down his chopsticks, feeling even more convinced that this woman was trying to please him. He had just given her money, and the next second, she showed this attitude. Last night, the lighting had been too dark to properly look at the place. The kitchen's refrigerator was covered with cute magnets, and the pots and pans were all stylishly arranged. The living room's coffee table had fresh flowers, and there were flowers planted on the balcony too. This home felt cozy, very different from the villas and old houses he had lived in before. His phone rang. Shao Jin looked at the caller ID with helplessness. "Dad. Don't come home for the next 6 months. Focus on building a relationship with Wan. Grandma said you need to quickly give us a grandchild. If you don't bother coming back. Oh, and by the way, step down from the company." Shao Jin was extremely helpless at his father's words. The Shao family has been passed down for 9 generations. Who do you want me to hand the company over to? Give it to the relatives on your mom's side. Isn't there a bunch of relatives over there? I think your uncle's cousin is quite good. An elderly voice, tinged with mild anger, came through the phone. Grandma. Shao Jin's temples throbbed. I got it. You got it. If I hadn't gone to your villa to get something, I wouldn't have known you've been living there for the past 6 months. And you were planning to steal the household register and marriage certificate from me to get a divorce. Don't even think about divorce, Wan is the daughter-in-law your mother picked out. Chapter 3, Didn't my sister-in-law serve you well? Shao Jin rubbed his temples. When he took Xiang Wan to the hospital, she behaved in a refined and well-mannered way, gentle and considerate, even telling jokes to make his mother laugh. Xiao's mother had been reminding him to treat her well right until her passing. The Shao family was a large one, but unfortunately, they had been a single-heir family for 9 generations. In order to break this curse, Xiao's father had specially married Xiao's mother, who came from a family with many members. But Xiao's mother only gave birth to him. Shao Jin kept dismissing the calls from his father before finally hanging up. Xiao's father had heard that his son had promised to come over but wasn't acting on it. So, last night, his grandmother had stormed into his villa, commanding the bodyguards to drag him to this neighborhood. Meanwhile, Xiang Wan had just returned to her office after her students finished their morning reading and were about to start their first class. You're drinking coffee this early. Didn't he sleep well last night? Her friend, Tang Nian, pushed her chair towards Xiang Wan's desk. Don't even mention it, my husband is back. Your husband, the one you got the marriage certificate with. Tang Nian had been Xiang Wan's classmate in college, and since Xiang Wan had a simple social circle, she knew everything about her. Xiang Wan nodded, looking troubled. He's the one who drives the CEO, right? Does that mean he won't be going on business trips anymore? Tang Nian knew that Xiang Wan had only married to appease her family, and that her husband had no interest in her. This had been fine with Xiang Wan. He said he'll be living here from now on, so I guess that means he won't be going on business trips anymore. The first time Xiang Wan saw Shao Jin, he was driving a Maybach. At the time, she thought it was his car, and it made her so nervous her legs almost gave out. He explained that he was the driver, which put her at ease. If Shao Jin had really been a big CEO, she would have run away immediately. After all, the wealthy world was too complicated, and it wasn't something she could handle. So, living under the same roof, you two might spark some romance. Romance my foot. You think this is one of those scenes from my novels? In addition to being a teacher, Xiang Wan had a part-time job writing web novels. She had written several books similar to The CEO's Love for Me, which Tang Nian had read all of. Teacher salaries weren't high, and going out for private tutoring might attract scrutiny from the higher-ups, so in order to achieve financial freedom, she had come up with this side hustle. Shao Group. In the conference room, Shao Jin sat at the head of the table. His face was ashen, and his sharp gaze swept across everyone in the room. No one dared to breathe loudly beneath him, glancing at each other, unsure of what was going on with their CEO. Their project had made a profit increase of 0.1% compared to last month, which meant an additional 100 million yuan. The company doesn't keep useless people. His magnetic voice carried a harsh tone, and his sharp black eyes seemed to pierce through everyone in the room. Yes, Mr. Shao. A man beside him smiled and looked at the others, who were being reprimanded so harshly that they didn't even dare to lift their heads. All right, meeting's over. We're done for today. Xu Chuan watched as the group scattered, with each one of them running out faster than the last. Within a few seconds, only the two of them were left in the conference room. I say, cousin, do you really need to take your anger out on them? Didn't your sister-in-law serve you properly? Shao Jin's sharp gaze shot at him. I think the job I arranged for you is too easy. The project we're developing, I think. Xu Chuan's face turned pale. That project was located in a remote foreign country with no one around. No, it's not easy at all. Cousin, I'm off to work now. Chapter 4: The overbearing president falls in love with Cinderella. The academic workload in the third year of high school was very intense, and Xiang Wan would always wait until the evening self-study class was over before she came back. By the time I got home, it was already 10 o'clock in the evening. As soon as she opened the door, she rushed into her bedroom, but unexpectedly Shao Jin came out of the master bedroom. She almost bumped into him. Sorry. Without bothering to say more to him, she went into the second bedroom, threw her bag on the bed, turned on her computer, and began uploading the novel to the website's back end. She updates regularly at around 10 o'clock every day. Shao Jin hadn't seen her room yet, which was decorated very warmly. A pink four-piece set, a fluffy pillow on the bed, a white floor lamp, and a carpet under the small sofa. The computer desk was also covered with a cartoon wallpaper. She sat there, concentrating on her work. The overbearing president falls in love with Cinderella. The sudden sound made Xiang Wan turn around and see Shao Jin staring at her computer. She closed the computer with a snap. She was just reading readers' comments and didn't notice when he came over. Shao Jin looked at her slightly red face. He had just seen her uploading a manuscript. Do you write this kind of novel? Part-time. She smiled at him awkwardly. Can it make money? Shao Jin looked at the many celebrity novels on her desk. It's okay, a few $1,000s. Xiang Wan did not hide it. She also wanted Tang Nian to learn how to write novels, but Tang Nian did not persist and gave up. People still pay to read such unrealistic novels. Shao Jin flipped through the books on her desk. Xiang Wan slammed the book shut, feeling a little annoyed. Of course I know it's unrealistic. I also know that the bosses in real life are not as handsome as those in novels. They are either sloppy men with Mediterranean foreheads, big bellies, or they are already over 50 years old. But girls still like this kind of young and handsome boss setting. It's great to be able to fulfill your dream in a novel. Just like her, she also wants to find such a domineering boss who only loves the heroine. How do you know there's no young, handsome, overbearing CEO like me in real life? Shao Jin was really unhappy when he heard her say that. You? Xiang Wan laughed at him without hesitation. You are so young and handsome, but you haven't become a boss. Aren't you driving for the boss? Shao Jin. Besides, wealthy families won't marry ordinary girls. After all, they need to be well matched. She may write novels, but she can distinguish reality from reality. He is quite self-aware. Shao Jin raised his eyebrows and looked at her. Mr. Shao, if you have nothing to do, please don't disturb me while I'm writing. Xiang Wan stretched out her hand, looking as if she was politely inviting him to leave. I cleaned out the things in the study today and put them in another bedroom. I need to use the study for my work. You can't enter my study. Before he went to the company today, he asked the housekeeper to bring some clothes and necessities from the villa. He also asked the housekeeper to arrange 2 people to move all the things in the study to other bedrooms. Xiang Wan frowned, but then she thought, this was no longer her home. Besides, the house is still his. You are not allowed to enter his study. The tone of this command is really uncomfortable. However, as a driver, he still needs to work. Xiang Wan nodded, yeah. As soon as Shao Jin left, she immediately closed the door and locked it. Shao Jin. Could he eat her? Chapter 5 Agreement. The next morning. Xiang Wan still gets up at 5 in the morning to make breakfast. She saw the dishes and chopsticks were cleanly placed in their original places, and then she remembered that she had forgotten to clean up the dishes and chopsticks from yesterday morning. Was it Shao Jin who cleaned it up? Thinking that we would need to live under the same roof in the future, it was normal for him to clean up a little. Little did they know that this was what Shao Jin had done when he asked the servants to tidy up the study room yesterday. Just like yesterday, Xiang Wan was eating breakfast when Shao Jin opened the door. Morning, Mr. Shao. Xiang Wan forced herself to adapt to his presence and tried hard to force a smile. She was considering yesterday whether she should propose to rent a house. But then she thought, since she and he have already obtained their marriage certificate, wouldn't it be a bad idea to rent a house and live alone? After all, when they got their marriage certificate, she didn't ask to live separately. This man didn't let her fulfill her duties as a wife, so she shouldn't live long, right? Xiang Wan decided to wait and see. Suddenly, 2 pieces of paper were placed in front of her. She was startled, looking at the enlarged bold words agreement on it, frowning. We will live together in the future. This is my living habit. You should be careful not to touch the taboos in the future. Shao Jin sat down, picked up his chopsticks and ate his breakfast. Xiang Wan looked at the rules and regulations above and couldn't help but widen her eyes. It's probably. He is a light sleeper, so don't make any noise after 10 o'clock at night, especially the sound of the door slamming like last night. If you have any questions in the future, please leave a message on WeChat and don't call him to disturb him. No friends allowed to come home. And so on, taking up 2 full pages of A4 paper. Okay, I can do all of this. Please don't enter my room without my consent, Mr. Shao. Also, please follow the rules and regulations you gave me, Mr. Shao. Shao Jin's brows were twisted so tightly that they could almost pinch a fly to death, and he looked at her with sharp eyes. No one has ever dared to speak to him like this. Xiang Wan also looked back. Why? Mr. Shao's terms can only bind others, not himself. Or is Mr. Shao a tyrant like the one in the novel, who must be subservient to others? Shao Jin withdrew his gaze after hearing her next words. Since we are all under the same roof, we should respect each other. Mr. Shao, don't act like you have to obey my orders. Xiang Wan took a big bite of the sandwich, not noticing Shao Jin's clenched fists at all. After finishing his meal in no time, Xiang Wan wiped his hands and went to school. Shao Jin threw down the sandwich in his hand and called the housekeeper of the villa. Prepare some high-end ingredients and bring them over. The breakfast Xiang Wan made was always the same. It was fine to eat at once, but he couldn't stand it if he ate too much. After yesterday's contact, he roughly guessed that, apart from breakfast, the other 2 meals were eaten at school. She writes novels part-time and works as a teacher. Her life is simple and regular. In most cases, they are not encountered in public. Otherwise, given his status and wealth, there was no telling to what extent that woman would flatter him. Xiang Wan was busy and happy at school, and had no idea that her nominal husband missed her so much at this moment. Xiang Wan, hurry up and tell me about you and your husband. Tang Nianyan pushed the chair with her foot, covered her face with a book, and even lowered her voice deliberately, with unstoppable gossip and expectation in her eyes. Xiang Wan. Living under the same roof, you don't have to. When the overbearing boss in your novel is with his little wife, there will be more or less accidents. Chapter 6. It's a pity that your husband is not a domineering boss. I think you've read too many novels about overbearing CEOs. Xiang Wan tapped her head lightly with the pen in his hand. But he's not a domineering boss. Alas, it's a pity for your husband's handsome face. Tang Yanyan looked up and sighed. Xiang Wan once showed her their marriage certificate. Shao Jin looked very handsome even in his ID photo. He should be even more handsome in person. Do you think there are really young and promising bosses in reality? Even if there are, they shouldn't appear around you and me. As soon as he finished speaking, Tang Yanyan patted her shoulder and signaled her. Everyone, please put aside your work. Tonight, the school will hold its anniversary celebration at the Runjing Hotel. Please be on time to attend. The person who spoke was Yu Jichen, who had become their vice president at the age of only 30. Everyone in the office looked at each other with surprise on their faces, and then applauded and cheered the next second. Runjing Hotel. That's the most upscale hotel in this city. Is this hotel owned by the Shore Group? I heard that Shore often holds banquets and company annual meetings here. This trip must cost a lot of money, right? Our school is the best high school in the city. The number of 211 and 985 graduates from one class is as high as that of all students in other schools. Don't worry, the school is not short of money. Xiang Wan was listening to the gossip coming from the office when she caught a glimpse of a pair of shiny leather shoes out of the corner of her eye. Before she even looked up, a voice came, "You go too." "I won't." She goes. Tang Yanyan immediately interrupted her and looked at Yu Jichen with a smile. Xiang Wan looked at the gentle and smiling faces and said with a little embarrassment, "Principal, It's okay for you to ask for leave for dinner and team building on weekdays, but today is the school anniversary celebration, you can't be absent, right?" Yu Jichen looked at her very seriously, with a hint of lust in his eyes. All right. For Xiang Wan, money is the most important thing. Although she has some manuscripts saved, she doesn't want to use them at this kind of party. As soon as Yu Jichen left, Tang Yanyan leaned closer to her and whispered, "The more I look at you, the more I feel that Principal Yu likes you. If you were not married, it would not be bad to be with him." "What nonsense are you talking about?" Xiang Wan glared at her, fearing that other colleagues might hear her. Tang Yanyan smiled at Xiang Wan and said, Okay, I won't say anything." Xiang Wan still had 2 classes to go, and the time was almost up, so she took her textbook and headed to the classroom. As evening approached, Xiang Wan sat in Tang Yanyan's car, looking through the course schedule on a tablet. Since tomorrow is the weekend, students don't have to attend evening self-study tonight. Tang Yanyan glanced at Xiang Wan, who was still working hard, and sighed helplessly, "Just eat, drink, have fun, and relax tonight." Xiang Wan takes her work very seriously, and for her, attending this kind of anniversary celebration is quite boring. Good. Xiang Wan smiled at her and turned off the tablet. When they were about to arrive at the entrance of Runjing Hotel, a Maybach passed by Tang Yanyan's car and stopped at the entrance. As soon as Tang Yanyan stepped on the brakes, his body fell forward heavily, but was pulled back by the seat belt. "Oh my God, I'm so scared. How could this guy not pay attention while driving?" Fortunately, she braked in time, otherwise she would not be able to afford the compensation if she crashed into the Maybach. Xiang Wan just felt that the Maybach was very familiar, as if it was. A figure flashed through my mind, and I saw the person who got off the car from the driver's seat. It was none other than Shao Jin. Chapter 7. His last name is also Shao. "Xiang Wan, what are you looking at?" Tang Yanyan patted her shoulder and looked in the direction she was looking. Shao Jin, who was already close by, heard the sound clearly. Their eyes met, and Xiang Wan smiled politely at Shao Jin. Shao Jin glanced at her expressionlessly, as if he treated her as a stranger, and then walked into the hotel. Xiang Wan's mouth twitched. This man drove the boss's Maybach, yet he was so arrogant. Could that man be Shao Jin? Tang Yanyan recalled the photo on the marriage certificate and overlapped the character with the man just now. "Well, get out of the car," Xiang Wan said lightly. "Ignore her, it's just right, she doesn't want to pay attention to him at all. Especially in public." The two of them went to the top floor and saw 2 very large banquet halls. When passing by the door of a banquet hall, Tang Nian glanced inside and was stunned for a moment. The magnificent banquet hall had carved stone pillars, the men were in suits and the women were in dresses and high heels. When Tang Nian saw the words on the projection, her eyes widened. A business banquet hosted by Shore Group. Isn't your husband there? By the way, is Shao Jin the driver for the CEO of Shore Corporation? Otherwise, why would he be here? TSK, they both have the same last name, but they are so different. Xiang Wan listened to Tang Nian muttering with a slight sigh. Let's go. Xiang Wan always felt that it was not good to stare at Shao Jin here, as if she was peeping. She pulled Tang Nian forward. At this moment, Shao Jin turned around and saw Xiang Wan leaving. Mr. Shao, I checked it out. The banquet hall next door is hosting the school's anniversary celebration. The assistant stood in front of him and nodded. Shao Jin thought Xiang Wan would never show up in his presence, but it seems he was wrong. Xiang Wan and Tang Nian came to their banquet hall. Looking around, both male and female teachers were dressed very conservatively, which was completely different from the teachers next door. Tang Nian's eyes were full of disappointment. I really want to go to the banquet hall of Shore Group. It's full of young talents. Maybe I can find a boyfriend there. We can't get into that place. Let's go and have something to eat. Xiang Wan took Tang Nian, who had a sad face, to the dessert area. But Tang Nian ran away after eating for a while, leaving her alone eating in the corner. Teacher Xiang Wan is still as unsociable as ever. Yu Jiqing sat down next to her. Principal Yu. Xiang Wan smiled awkwardly. There is intrigue in the workplace, and the same goes for teachers in school. She doesn't like those people who are like smiling tigers. I always feel like chatting with them is a waste of my time. Teacher Xiang Wan is now at the age where you should get married. Do you have any criteria for choosing a spouse? The topic suddenly turned to this, causing Xiang Wan to be stunned for a moment. Since she and Shao Jin were husband and wife in name only and there was no wedding ceremony, she did not tell her colleagues about her marriage. Principal Yu, actually Xiang Wan. Why are you still here? Xiang Wan was about to say that she was already married when she was interrupted by Tang Nian. Principal Yu. Tang Nian approached and found that Yu Jiqing was also there. After calling him politely, he quickly pulled Xiang Wan away and said, Don't you know that you will be giving a speech on stage soon? Xiang Wan is the best class teacher in the grade. Her class always ranks first in the grade, so she would go on stage to give a speech every time. She just doesn't like socializing with her colleagues at school, but that doesn't mean she is afraid of such occasions. Chapter 8 Peeping at her. She has excellent writing skills. Standing on the stage with the lights shining on her, she hardly needed to use a draft. She was calm and confident, and finished the speech in due time. Yu Jiqing in the audience looked at her. Xiang Wan also discovered it. As soon as she stepped down from the stage, she saw Yu Jiqing coming over. Great speech. Principal Yu, thank you for your compliment. She smiled politely. This scene was seen by Shao Jin outside the banquet hall. He was forcibly brought over by Xu Chuan to see Xiang Wan, but he didn't expect to see her giving a speech. When my sister-in-law was giving a speech just now, she exuded a confident and calm aura. Xu Chuan stretched his head hard, looked inside, and deliberately told Shao Jin what was going on. Based on my many years of experience in the love field, the man in front of my sister-in-law definitely likes her. Xu Chuan looked back at Shao Jin and found that his eyes were full of indifference. He turned and left expressionlessly. Xiang Wan. I knew you were the best. Tang Nian gave her a big hug. Seeing that Tang Nian had intervened again, Yu Jiqing wisely left. Can you do me a favor? Tang Nian came close to her and blinked her dark and bright eyes at her. Can you ask your husband if there are any single guys in their company? Can you give me their contact information? Xiang Wan. Seeing that Xiang Wan was unmoved, Tang Nian shook her arm and said coquettishly, Please, my lifelong happiness depends on you. I'll try, but he may not give it to me. Tang Nian hugged her excitedly. She didn't wait until the end of the banquet. She informed Tang Nian and left. Tang Nian said he wanted to give her a ride, but she refused. They were going home in opposite directions and she didn't want to trouble Tang Nian. She stood on the side of the road and tried to stop a taxi, but every time she stopped one, there were people in the car. Suddenly, a familiar Maybach stopped in front of her, the window rolled down, revealing Shao Jin's handsome face. He said coldly, "Get in the car." Xiang Wan still remembered that when she smiled at him politely, he had no expression on his face and didn't even respond. At this moment, she didn't want to get in the car. But she had been standing there for 10 minutes and hadn't been able to get a taxi. She hesitated for a moment, opened the passenger door, and got in. No one spoke in the car. Xiang Wan felt very uncomfortable and was the first to break the silence. Thank you for giving me a ride." Shao Jin responded indifferently without even looking at her. Soon, the car returned to silence. "Is it okay for you to drive a stranger in your boss's car?" After thinking about it, Shao Jin has been driving this car all the time, so it seems that he has the right to use it. Fine. Shao Jin's eyes were still fixed on the route ahead. Seeing that he had no intention of talking to her at all, Xiang Wan simply stopped talking and arrived at the community. He parked the car in the parking space and the two men entered the elevator. "Did you rent that parking space or did you buy it? The houses here are not cheap, and buying a parking space would cost around 200,000 yuan. Bought it." Shao Jin raised his eyebrows, not understanding why. "I don't mean anything else. I just think that since you don't have your own car and have been driving your boss's Maybach, it's not a good deal to buy a parking space and park someone else's car. Actually, you can rent it." Xiang Wan said this while observing his expression. Shao Jin. Chapter 9 Ask him for the WeChat of Shore Group employees. There are many luxury cars in the garage of his villa, and this is just one of them. House prices here only go up and never go down, and the same goes for parking spaces. Buy early and enjoy early, and you won't lose money if you sell it. Shao Jin found a suitable reason. Xiang Wan nodded thoughtfully, thinking that Shao Jin's idea was quite right. The elevator door opened at this time. Xiang Wan took out the key and opened the door. She saw a pile of ingredients on the dining table. "Did you buy these?" Xiang Wan put her bag on the cabinet next to the entrance, changed into slippers, and walked towards the pile of ingredients. "My boss gave it to me. Please classify it." He had limited time as he had to go to the company, so when the housekeeper delivered it, he left it on the table. Besides, he didn't know whether the housekeeper had placed these things in the right place, so it would be safer to let her put them there. She picked at the ingredients: bird's nest, abalone, shark fin, sea cucumber, fish more. There are also some top-quality salmon, steaks, various meats, and various precious mushrooms. She recognized the store name on the packaging bag. It was bought from the most expensive vegetable market in the city. "Your boss is so generous." Xiang Wan secretly admired and envied Shao Jin, who could reap such benefits by following the CEO of Shore Group. After categorizing the ingredients and putting them away one by one, Xiang Wan glanced at the time. It was almost 10 o'clock, so she hurried back to her room, turned on her computer and uploaded the manuscript. When Shao Jin was pouring water, he passed by her bedroom, paused, and was about to take a step when she called him. "Mr. Shao, wait a moment." Xiang Wan came to the door of the room and looked at him, his face calm and silent, as if he was waiting for her to speak. She smiled beautifully. "There should be a lot of unmarried young talents in your company, right?" Shao Jin saw the expectant look in her eyes, and remembered seeing her chatting with a man outside the banquet hall after her speech. Is this woman so impatient to find a new partner? Xiang Wan saw him thinking and thought he was thinking about who was single in Shore Group. She then continued, "Can you help me get my WeChat?" "No." Shao Jin looked at her coldly and went back to the master bedroom. Xiang Wan heard the slam of the door and felt confused. Why did she feel that the man was angry? Before going to bed, she sent a WeChat message to Tang Nian. "Sorry, I didn't get your WeChat." Tang Nian scolded Shao Jin and said he was stingy. The next morning, Xiang Wan woke up on time. Although it was the weekend and she didn't need to go to work, she was used to getting up early and was now hungry. There were a lot of ingredients prepared last night, so she got up, washed up simply, and thinking that Shao Jin was in this house, she changed her clothes and went to the kitchen. Since there were a lot more ingredients and it was the weekend, she had enough time to make a more sumptuous breakfast than usual. When Shao Jin came out of the bedroom, Xiang Wan had just put the last breakfast on the table. Breakfast is ready, Mr. Shao. Even though Shao Jin refused her request for his WeChat last night, she was magnanimous and didn't argue with him because of the large amount of food. Shao Jin was angry for most of the night, thinking that Xiang Wan was very scheming and had already started looking for someone new. With a sullen face, he pulled out a chair and sat down. Xiang Wan noticed his emotions and was about to ask him what was wrong when the phone on the table rang. When Xiang Wan saw the caller ID jumping on the screen, all the good mood she had had in the morning was gone. The person who called was her mother, whom she hadn't contacted for half a year. Chapter 10, The Son Favoring Mother. This call must be bad news. Xiang Wan didn't plan to answer the call and just pressed the mute button, but the notes on the screen were still jumping. She handed the chopsticks to Shao Jin and lowered her head to eat. But Xiang Wan seemed to be unwilling to give up and kept beating them one after another. Don't answer. Shao Jin looked at her slightly ugly face leisurely. I had been to her house once before, and it seemed that she had a bad relationship with Xiang's mother. Xiang Wan answered the call directly. Her tone was very unfriendly. What's the matter? Wan, you haven't called home for half a year. I don't know how your family is worried about you. How are you doing? Xiang Mu's tone was full of concern for her. People who don't know would really think that Xiang's mother loves her very much. But Xiang Wan just thought it was ridiculous. He called early in the morning at 6 o'clock. Just a simple greeting and concern? It seems that the situation has become serious enough to require a phone call at this time. If you have nothing else to do, I'm hanging up. Xiang's mother was afraid that Xiang Wan would hang up the phone, so she quickly said, Don't. Something, just a small matter. Wan, your brother spent all the 500,000 yuan in betrothal gifts. Your brother's girlfriend insisted on asking for a car and betrothal gifts, and she threatened to break up with your brother if he didn't give them. You should have saved up a lot of money, right? Just help your brother out. Discuss with your mother in a nice and gentle voice. But when Xiang Wan heard these words, he gradually clenched his fists. In just half a year, you let him squander my 500,000 yuan betrothal gift. She used the 500,000 yuan betrothal gift to buy her future freedom and promised her mother that she would never ask her for money again. What are you talking about? Everything you have should belong to your brother. No matter how much money I have spent on you since you were a child, it should all be your brother's property. You are an unfilial daughter, an ungrateful bastard. Asking you to give me some money is the same as killing you. Xiang's mother started to act unreasonable and scolded Xiang Wan. Xiang Wan's hand holding the phone trembled constantly, her chest heaved, and she bit her lower lip tightly. She didn't want to argue in front of Shao Jin, but she was too angry to move away. I don't have any money. She tried her best to calm down and watched Shao Jin eating breakfast silently. She guessed that he probably couldn't hear what Xiang Mu said. Little did he know that Shao Jin had already heard it clearly. Don't try to fool me. Give me whatever you have. Your brother won't be able to find a wife. How many relatives and friends will criticize him? Just think of it as paying me back for raising you. Mom, I earned my college tuition by working during the summer vacation, and my living expenses were earned by working part-time on weekends. From kindergarten to high school, I spent less than $500,000. Since her mother didn't buy her pencils, she would use the pencil stubs that other people had thrown away. Xiang's mother would never buy clothes for her. She would just pick up clothes that relatives don't want and wear shoes that don't fit her. As for eating, all the delicious food and drinks were given to her younger brother first. She could only eat some vegetables and was not allowed to eat any meat. Giving her the 500,000 yuan betrothal gift was already Xiang Wan's best effort. Good for you. Now that you're married, you've learned to talk back. I can't control you anymore. If you don't have this money, ask your son-in-law for it. He can afford a betrothal gift of 500,000 yuan, and he doesn't need your brother's money. Shao Jin lowered his head to eat, and a sharp look flashed in his eyes. Xiang Wan didn't even know that her mother was so shameless. She and Shao Jin are nominally husband and wife, and he cannot be involved. He has no money. These words made Shao Jin's hand holding the chopsticks freeze, as it was obviously beyond his expectations. Why are you still with him if he has no money? Divorce him now. Second marriages are very popular nowadays. They give more than first marriages. You are not bad looking, so you can definitely marry a second married and wealthy man. Chapter 11, I have a change of mind about her. Xiang Wan. She knew that arguing with Xiang's mother would lead to no result and she would only continue to argue, so she simply hung up the phone. She was used to her mother always bullying her since she was a child, but she couldn't let Shao Jin get involved. Even though Shao Jin didn't hear what Xiang's mother said, he heard clearly what she said just now. She was checking him out, and suddenly, she met his gaze. Xiang Wan couldn't help but tighten the chopsticks in her hand. After much hesitation, she finally spoke. Before we got the marriage certificate, you said that when you wanted a divorce, you wanted me to cooperate with you in getting a divorce. Do you want a divorce? Why? Are you looking for someone else so soon? Shao Jin put down the chopsticks in his hand and thought about what his mother had just said. Is she planning to remarry? Find another person and ask for a high bride price. What? Xiang Wan looked at him in confusion, not knowing what he meant. Without thinking too much, she continued, you got the marriage certificate with me just to make your mother happy. Now your mother is gone, After a pause, she gritted her teeth and said, we are just living together now. We respect each other and don't like each other. You are already 31 years old. Let's get divorced and you can find a girl you like. She believed that what she said was entirely for Shao Jin's sake. Her marriage certificate is with her and his is with him, they are separate. Shao Jin heard the words, already 31 years old, from her mouth. Are you saying he's old? Does she want a divorce so much? Just because he is a driver. So I should thank you for thinking of me. He had wanted to divorce earlier, but unfortunately he was discovered stealing the marriage certificate and household registration booklet. If she gets those two things, she won't be able to talk about the word divorce here. I just think you can follow what you want in life. Xiang Wan's words were extremely sincere. What if I don't want a divorce? Shao Jin's words startled Xiang Wan. She didn't expect that he didn't want a divorce, but she couldn't guess why he didn't want to divorce. Meeting his cold gaze, she opened her mouth but still didn't ask the reason. But she still expressed her concerns. I don't know if you heard what my mother said, but you should be able to guess what I said. My mother is difficult to deal with and may come to my house. She might ask you for money then, so we can avoid this problem by getting a divorce. A hint of disbelief flashed across Shao Jin's eyes, but it disappeared in just a second. Is she worried about this? Just now he thought she was that kind of woman. It seems that he was a little prejudiced against her. This is not a big deal. As the president of Sure Group, he should be able to solve such a small problem. Xiang Wan did not relax at all, as she knew her excellent family members too well. Based on your understanding of them, you can tell me what your family will do so that I can be mentally prepared. I don't know why, but when I heard her say that all the university tuition and living expenses were earned by her, I felt a little strange in my heart. Their Shao family has only one son for 9 generations, all of whom are boys, so his mother likes Xiang Wan very much. If Xiang Wan was born in their family, she would be very happy. My parents favor boys over girls. I am the eldest in the family, and I have a younger sister who is the second oldest. But when I brought you home to meet them, you didn't see my sister. She is currently in college. Chapter 12 His Grandma's Birthday. My brother is 1 year younger than my sister. In order to avoid family planning, my sister was sent to live with relatives. I am the eldest, so they naturally think that I should take on more responsibilities. My younger brother is not in school anymore and is currently living off his parents. My mom only pays for my younger sister's tuition, and I will take care of her living expenses. Because she knew how hard it was to work part-time to earn tuition and living expenses, she couldn't bear to let her sister suffer the same hardships she had experienced. They were not familiar with each other, and he probably didn't know much about her family situation, so she first sorted out the people in her family for him. My mother is quite extreme and protective. She will not give up until she achieves her goal. In order to get the dowry, she made me go on blind dates with ugly men, nouveau riche men, and divorced men. I went on blind dates on the dating website because I wanted to get away from that family. I've been on a lot of blind dates, but you're the only one who doesn't mind paying the 500,000 yuan betrothal gift. But my parents promised me that as long as I only paid the 500,000 yuan, they would never ask me for money again. If she had known the situation would be like this today, she would never have given Xiang's mother the 500,000 yuan. Shao Jin looked at her and thought about how he had previously thought she was greedy for asking for the 500,000 yuan betrothal gift. It seems that I misunderstood her. Obviously, they are an extremely ordinary family, but they act as if there is a throne in the family for her younger brother to inherit. While she was talking about these things, there was a smile on her face and she was extremely calm, as if she was narrating someone else's story. This made his chest feel a little tight. I will return the 500,000 to you when we divorce. After all, they were not a real couple, and she didn't want to owe him anything. No need. Shao Jin frowned slightly, his thin lips tightened. I gave the betrothal gift voluntarily, I won't take it back. Xiang Wan was stunned for a moment, and for the first time she felt that he still had some humanity. But she will return it to him when the time comes. From now on, I will not give them any more money. I can provide for their retirement, but don't even think about asking me to subsidize her son. That home was not a home at all, which made her feel disheartened. Shao Jin had a new opinion of the woman in front of him. Do you have time today? If it were this time before, she would have gone to school long ago. Today is the weekend, so I guess she is taking a rest. Xiang Wan nodded, not understanding why. It's grandma's birthday in a few days. Buy her a gift today and I'll take you back when the time comes. He still had to go to the company and didn't have time to go to the mall with her. For the gift money, use the credit card I gave you. It made her seem like she was after his money. After all, it's a gift for an old man, so it doesn't make sense to use his money. Now she is still his wife in name only. Shao Jin glanced at the time and said, I'm going to the company. Bye-bye. Say goodbye to the evening. Xiang Wan is very thoughtful when it comes to birthday gifts for the elderly. I searched Baidu, asked Tang Nian, and went shopping in the mall, but in the end I still couldn't express my feelings. Finally she decided to do it herself. She sent a text message to Shao Jin. Do you have any photos of grandma? Can you give me one, preferably of the two of you, or grandma and flowers, or pets, but not just grandma by herself? Shao Jin was in a meeting when suddenly WeChat on his cell phone rang. When he saw the name, he frowned unhappily, but his hand still subconsciously clicked on the message. The people in the audience looked at each other, looking at the ever-changing face of their president, and were guessing who had sent the message. After all, their president never replies to messages when he is in a meeting. Chapter 13, Not Cooking for Him. Shao Jin opened his photo album, which only contained photos of him and his grandmother. In order not to delay the meeting, he sent the message to her and then turned off his phone. When he looked up, he found Xuquan stretching his head to look at his phone. He gave Xuquan a glare and he sat up straight obediently. Continue the meeting. Until Shao Jin got off work, he didn't receive any information about Xiang Wan swiping her credit card on his phone. He drove back home and looked at the little figure busy in the kitchen. She was wearing an apron and holding a spatula in her hand, stirring the food in the pot. The atmosphere has the feeling of a small family. The range hood was on so she didn't even notice he came back. Xiang Wan saw that the vegetables in the pot were almost cooked, so she poured them into a plate. She turned around with the dishes and found that Shao Jin had returned at some point. Have you eaten yet? Xiang Wan was used to being alone, and thought Shao Jin would not come back so early, so she cooked for herself. No. Xiang Wan was embarrassed. She took the food in her hand and placed it on the table. You eat first. I'll cook 2 more dishes. Good. He should be quick. After thinking about it, I decided to decide whether to argue with him since I was living under his roof and I spent his money to buy the vegetables. I went back to the kitchen and made 2 dishes and a soup. When she brought the dishes to the table, she found that he had not touched the food on the table. Xiang Wan brought up the dishes, a total of 4 dishes and 1 soup. Mr. Shao. Xiang Wan stretched her head to look in the direction of his master bedroom and called him. The next second, Shao Jin came out in home clothes, his hair slightly wet, obviously he had just taken a shower. She sat down only after Shao Jin sat down. You didn't buy anything today. Shao Jin picked up his chopsticks and asked while eating, are you asking me for the photo as a gift for grandma? Xiang Wan didn't expect that he hit the nail on the head. Well, I didn't see anything good in my eyes, so I planned to make something for grandma to express my feelings. She hadn't met Grandma Shao yet, but she thought that it was their first meeting and the thought was the most important, so she couldn't be perfunctory. No matter what she gave, his grandmother would like it. But on that day, there should be a lot of people. After thinking about it, Shao Jin decided to remind her, there will be a lot of people on Grandma's birthday. A lot? How many? A dozen is the maximum, right? Xiang Wan thought. If everyone is present, there will be more than 30 people. There are not many people in the Shao family, and his mother's side makes up the majority. This is the rule set by the old lady. Because the Shao family has been a single-line family for 9 generations, every birthday is always deserted. In addition, his mother has passed away. In order to maintain the relationship between the two families, relatives from his mother's side will be present every year on the old lady's birthday. His mother has 7 brothers and sisters, each of whom has several children, and some of the children are already married. That's more than 30 people. More than 30 people. Xiang Wan's mouth twitched and his brows furrowed. It seems that she will have to deal with it for a long time then. Shao Jin saw through her thoughts at a glance. I'll be here when the time comes, so you don't have to deal with it. Shao Jin's head ached when he thought of the scene at that time. Now that the whole family knows that he and Xiang Wan are living together to develop their relationship, there's no telling how passionate he will be towards her. At this moment, a WeChat voice message came on Xiang Wan's phone. It was a message sent by her sister to Xian, so she clicked it directly. Sister, can you give me 5,000 yuan? My laptop is broken and I want to buy a new one. Chapter 14. What are you going to do with the 1 million you save? Xiang Wan almost always agreed to Xiang Xuanxuan's requests. She wanted to make up to her sister for the love and money she didn't get. Xian, are you in a hurry for the notebook? Can it be done by the end of the month? My sister hasn't received her royalties for this month yet. I sent a voice message to Xiang Wan. Soon the other side came back. Sister, it's urgent, I need it. Don't you save some money every month? Can't you take it out and give it to me first? Xiang Xuanxuan's coquettish behavior was also unreasonable, which made Shao Jin frown. This is not the attitude of asking for help at all. Can I lend you my new notebook first? She has 2 notebooks, one is very old and broken, but still usable. Sister. Xiang Xian said in a serious tone, are you so stubborn? You have to buy me a notebook anyway, so why don't you just deposit the money into your bank card later? This is the first time that Xiang Xian has been so aggressive. It has never happened before. A sharp gleam flashed in Shao Jin's eyes, and his face turned ashen. But Xiang Wan didn't notice it. Although she dotes on Xian, she would never do it to this extent. Xiang Wan felt very uncomfortable with what Xiang Xian had just said. Xian, either you bear with it for a few days and I'll give it to you at the end of the month, or I'll send you my notebook first. Her tone was stiff, and after waiting for a while, there was no response from Xian. Although this is your business and I shouldn't comment on it, I still want to remind you. Shao Jin looked indifferent and frowned. You should be kind to your sister in moderation. It was precisely because Xiang Wan was usually very nice to Xiang Xian that Xiang Xian dared to have such an attitude today. In Shao Jin's opinion, there is no normal person in the Xiang family, only Xiang Wan is relatively normal. No one, whether from the Shao family or his mother's relatives, would do this. Respecting the old and loving the young, and being friendly to brothers and respectful to younger brothers are things that must be observed. Xiang Wan knew this, but she couldn't bear to let Xiang Xian suffer to earn a living, so she could only keep struggling. After dinner, Xiang Wan washed the dishes, cleared the table, returned to the bedroom, and took out the bank card from the drawer. When will I be able to save up 1 million? She leaned back in her chair, tilted her head back, put the bank card in front of her eyes, and sighed heavily. 1 million. Shao Jin happened to hear this as he passed by her room. What do you want to do with 1 million? He looked at the bank card in her hand. There was a note on it with 150,000 written in bold letters. Xiang Wan turned her head to look at him. With $1 million, I can do a lot of things. I can have my own house. I can buy a car too. I can also deposit it in the bank and earn 1 million in interest. Just thinking about being able to save up 1 million, Xiang Wan's lips couldn't help but curl up. Shao Jin looked at her with longing expression, as if she had already obtained 1 million. 1 million can make a person so happy. He owns too many houses to count, and the net profit from any one of his projects is at least tens of millions. As for cars, there are countless of them. How many years did it take you to save up 150,000 yuan? Shao Jin asked her. Xiang Wan snapped her fingers and held up 5 of them. 5 years. She pays for her own tuition and living expenses, and after working, she also pays for her younger sister's living expenses, plus her daily food, drink, and toilet expenses. It's already quite good that she can save 150,000 yuan. A rough estimate is that it will take you another 28 years to earn the remaining 850,000. Chapter 15. Then I'll borrow Mr. Shao's good words. Xiang Wan. Did this man really calculate it so clearly for her? Seeing that her high spirits just now suddenly became like wilted leaves, he comforted her. A person's life is not a horizontal line, but a line with twists and turns. Maybe you will encounter an opportunity and save up 1 million quickly. Shao Jin clearly saw a gleam of light flash in her eyes. Although I know you are trying to comfort me, thank you anyway. Xiang Wan still knows her own weight. She is just an ordinary person, living an ordinary life. When her sister graduates from college and is able to work, she won't have to pay for her sister's living expenses. But it is only a matter of time before she and Shao Jin divorce. She will have her own children to raise, buy a house and a car, and pay their mortgage and car loan, which will all be considerable expenses. Maybe, saving up 1 million is just a dream. She sighed heavily, turned on her computer, and started writing. Somehow, when Shao Jin saw her sighing, he felt a strange feeling in his heart. 1 million is just a small amount to him. You will definitely make 1 million in your lifetime. Shao Jin said this with great certainty. After their divorce, the compensation he gave would be more than 1 million. If they don't divorce, part of his property will be given to her. When this thought came to his mind, Shao Jin was stunned. How could he have thought of this? Then I'll borrow Mr. Shao's good words. Xiang Wan didn't take his words to heart and started writing. Shao Jin said, "Good night," and went to the study. Xiang Wan kept her promise and never entered the study room once. Even though the door was open, she didn't even look at it. Shao Jin was busy until 2 o'clock in the morning. When he came out of the study, he saw that the light was still on in her half-open door. He knocked on the door, but there was no response. He pushed it open gently and saw her sleeping on the table. The Word document on the computer showed that there were 8,000 words written, and a wood sculpture was placed next to it. It's a piece of wood, and a rough shape has just been carved out. The outlines of the two characters have already appeared, from the photo he gave her during the day. Is she going to give this to Grandma? Shao Jin gently pushed her and said, "Wake up, don't sleep here, you will catch a cold." Xiang Wan whimpered, turned her head impatiently and continued to sleep. Shao Jin frowned, picked her up horizontally, put her on the bed, and covered her with a quilt. I must make 1 million. I want to own a house of my own. Xiang Wan was talking in her sleep. She turned over and tucked the quilt between her legs. Shao Jin was slightly stunned. It seemed that owning her own house was her dream. I wanted to pull the quilt over her and cover her again, but her legs were pressing on her and I couldn't pull it out. Shao Jin had no choice but to close the door and leave. The next day, Xiang Wan still doesn't go to work. But this time she got up late, and it was 7 o'clock when she woke up. I thought Shao Jin had already gone to the company, but unexpectedly he was dealing with things in the study. Sorry, I slept too late last night. How about breakfast? She remembered that she seemed to have fallen asleep on the table last night, so why was she in bed when she woke up? After thinking it over, Xiang Wan felt that she had climbed into bed and fallen asleep in a daze. I didn't think of Shao Jin at all. No need to do it, I'll go to the company to eat. Shao Jin fixed his eyes on the computer screen and said. Chapter 16. Xiang Xianxian is back. Xiang Wan nodded and said, which made her feel relieved. Suddenly there was a knock on the door. Shao Jin looked at Xiang Wan, your friend. No, your friend. Only Tang Niannian knew that she lived here. But the person knocking on the door would definitely not be Tang Niannian. Every weekend, Tang Niannian would wish to sleep all day. Shao Jin turned off the computer and walked towards the door. Xiang Wan was behind him. When he opened the door, Xiang Wan was dumbfounded. The person who came was none other than Xiang Wan's sister Xiang Xianxian. Why are you back from school? Xiang Wan was stunned. Xiang Xianxian withdrew her gaze from Shao Jin and immediately hugged Xiang Wan. I missed you, so I came to see you. Come in quickly. Xiang Wan called Xiang Xianxian in. Xiang Xianxian kept looking at Shao Jin out of the corner of her eye. She had always known that her sister was married, but had never seen her. But she didn't expect that her sister would be so convinced and marry such a handsome man. Shao Jin automatically ignored the glances that Xian was stealing at him. He had seen this kind of look on many women's faces. However, it disgusted him. How did you find this place? Xiang Wan remembered that she had never told her family the address here. Sister, you forgot. You mailed me something before, and the address was here. I guess that my brother-in-law's home should be here. As Xiang spoke, she took the tea handed to her by Xiang Wan and took a sip. I secretly glanced around at Shao Jin, but didn't see him. Xiang Wan recalled it and realized that it was indeed the case. She was just being careless. You didn't tell your parents the address here. If they come looking for us, we will be in a lot of trouble. Don't worry, they don't know. Xiang smiled at her. Xiang Wan breathed a sigh of relief. I learned that she was just coming back to catch the train and had not had breakfast yet. So she headed towards the kitchen, planning on making some breakfast to eat together. While cooking, she chatted with Xiang. You don't have classes these days? Well, I don't have classes these 3 days, so I came to see you. Xiang leaned against the kitchen door frame, and after thinking it over again and again, she decided to ask her, Sister, can you give me the 5,000 yuan? Most of the living expenses Xiang Wan gave her were exploited by her mother. She now earns her own living expenses by working part-time at school. Her computer was not broken. She called her mother and forced her to give the 5,000 yuan to her sister. He said his brother's cell phone was broken, so he replaced it with a 5,000 yuan one. It's not just the Xiang family that favors boys over girls. Many people in the village favor boys over girls, and Xiang thinks this is right. Anyway, girls are like water spilled once they are married off. If you want to blame someone, just blame them for not having such a good life and being girls. However, my sister has always been stubborn and refused to give in, always talking about gender equality. She had no choice but to make this trip because her mother forced her to do so. Xian, sister really can't give. Sister, just give it to me. I've come all the way to see you. Please give it to me. I promise I won't do it again. Xiang shook Xiang Wan's arm and acted coquettishly. Xiang Wan sighed helplessly, okay then. I knew you were the best. Xiang gave Xiang Wan a kiss on the cheek. The triumphant look in her eyes was clearly seen by Shao Jin, who came out at some point. Sister, brother-in-law. Xiang turned around and found Shao Jin's sharp gaze fixed on her, which made her feel guilty. Chapter 17. Your wife has been bullied like this. I'm going to the company. Shao Jin just glanced at her indifferently and turned his gaze to Xiang Wan. Oh, okay, be careful on the road. Xiang Wan saw Shao Jin nodded and left. Xiang Wan felt very uncomfortable with Shao Jin's indifferent attitude towards Xiang. But on second thought, he had done nothing wrong in their relationship. As soon as Shao Jin left, Xiang no longer felt the pressure she had just felt. She complained to Xiang Wan, Sister, why is my brother-in-law so cold to me? I'll tell you in detail later. Breakfast will be ready soon. Go sit down. Xiang Wan placed the last fried egg on a plate and served them to the table one by one. She sat down in front of Xiang and handed her a pair of chopsticks. After hesitating for a moment, she told Xiang about her relationship with Shao Jin. As expected, Xiang widened her eyes in surprise. So you're just ruining your own happiness for $500,000. Somehow, when she found out that Shao Jin didn't like her sister at all, she felt a little relieved deep in her heart. This kind of life now is my greatest happiness. Compared to her mother's constant exploitation of her, Xiang Wan's life is now much more comfortable. She never wanted to go back to that family where boys were favored over girls. After breakfast, Xiang began to look around the house. But I found that the doors of the study and the master bedroom were locked. Brother-in-law is such a stingy person. He even locked it up. Is he afraid that we will steal things? Xiang Wan was stunned. Shao Jin usually didn't lock the door. Are you on guard against Xiang? But given her sister's personality, she would casually rummage through other people's things. It's better to lock it up. We each live our own lives, so it's normal to lock it up. Towards evening. Within the group, Shao Jin's face was as cold as an ice cellar. He didn't know who had angered him. Hey! Did your sister-in-law piss you off? Xu Chuan passed by the office door, glanced inside, so that he looked embarrassed, and teased him jokingly. Shao Jin glared at him. Xu Chuan walked in with a playful smile, pulled out the chair in front of him, and sat down without any courtesy. Tell me, what happened? This is a totally gossipy expression. Her sister came to visit. Shao Jin didn't like Xiang Xianxian from the bottom of his heart, but he had no choice but to chase her away because Xiang Wan was around. Your sister-in-law. Xu Chuan joked. These words made Shao Jin's face turn cold. Thinking about the strange look in Xiang Xuanxuan's eyes this morning, she had a hunch that Xiang Xianxian was hiding something from Xiang Wan. Go check out Xiang Xianxian and investigate her thoroughly. Okay. Xu Chuan's gossiping mood disappeared instantly. Have to. This gave him another job. I shouldn't have come in. I'll give you an hour. Just half an hour. Xu Chuan was not exaggerating. This was an investigation of a small family, which was very easy. Sure enough, half an hour later, Xu Chuan came to the president's office again. He held a printed document in his hand and handed it to Shao Jin. TSK, your sister-in-law is really not simple. Shao Jin glanced at him and looked at what he had investigated. The more he looked, the darker Shao Jin's face became. Your wife is so pitiful. Xu Chuan sighed and touched his shoulder with his elbow. Aren't you going to help my sister-in-law? Seeing Shao Jin's cold face and continued silence, Xu Chuan couldn't keep calm anymore. You've been bullied like this, and you can still keep your composure. I know how to do it. There was a flash of sharpness in Shao Jin's eyes. Chapter 18, Save Half the Money. For a whole day, Xiang Wan took her sister shopping and bought some clothes, went to the vegetable market to buy some vegetables, and withdrew 5,000 yuan. She didn't know whether Shao Jin would come back or not, but in order to prevent the accident of not making dinner for him as before, she chose to cook his portion this time. I made 8 dishes and 2 soups, a total of 10 dishes. Of the precious ingredients sent by boss Shao Jin, she only used 2. Wow! It smells so good. Xiang Xianxian leaned in to smell the dishes and praised Xiang Wan generously. I'm drooling just looking at them. Just as Xiang Xianxian was about to pick up her chopsticks, Xiang Wan stopped her in time. Wait, I'll call your brother-in-law and see if he'll come back for dinner. Xiang Wan felt that proper etiquette should still be observed. Besides, her sister would stay here for 2 days. After all, it was Shao Jin's house, and Shao Jin didn't ask to chase her away. She has to know how to be grateful. He and you are not a real couple, yet you still respect him so much. Xiang Xianxian began to complain with some dissatisfaction. But Shao Jin, who opened the door and came in, happened to hear it. Xiang Wan just took out her cell phone from the bedroom and wanted to call Shao Jin, but she ran into him head-on. She looked at Xiang Xianxian with a guilty conscience, not knowing whether he had heard what her sister had just said. Did you have meal? Xiang Wan quickly found a topic. Not yet. Shao Jin put the file bag in his hand back into the study and turned back. Xiang Wan looked at him, still as cold as usual, and thought, maybe he didn't hear it. 3 people sat at the dinner table. Shao Jin sat at the head of the table, while Xiang Wan and Xiang Xianxian sat facing each other. What did you do today? Shao Jin asked Xiang Wan while eating. I have prepared a gift for Grandma. I will show it to you later. If you think Grandma doesn't like it, I will buy her one. Although this was something that represented her feelings, she had no idea what the old lady liked. Then Xiang Wan talked about going out to get money and buying clothes for Xiang Xianxian. Shao Jin's gaze shifted to Xiang Xuanxuan's face, and his sharp gaze was fixed on her face without any concealment. Xiang Xianxian was so frightened that she could hardly hold the chopsticks. Sister, brother-in-law, why are you looking at me like that? Although Xiang Xianxian had a good impression of Shao Jin, her intuition told her that this man was very fierce and she couldn't get close to him. I know a boss who sells computers. If you like any of them, I can give you half the price. Why don't you just use my connections to buy it for you? As soon as Shao Jin said this, Xiang Xuanxuan's face turned pale. Xiang Wan, on the other hand, didn't notice any clues. She looked at Shao Jin with a hint of joy on her face. Do you really know the boss? Shao Jin nodded. A $5,000 computer can be bought for 2,500. This can save half of the money. I'll give it to you later. Xiang Wan withdrew the money but has not given it to Xiang Xianxian yet. No. When Xiang Xianxian heard this, she refused outright. Her mind was spinning rapidly, wondering what to do. She was so anxious that even her little hand under the table was sweating. Sister, I want to buy a computer myself, so I won't bother my brother-in-law. Xiang Xianxian couldn't find a suitable excuse. No trouble, he's my very good friend. The document showed that Xiang Xuanxuan's 5,000 yuan was to be given to her younger brother Xiang Zijuan. In addition, most of the living expenses that Xiang Wan gave to Xiang Xianxian were taken away by Xiang's mother, and now Xiang Xianxian is also working part-time. As for Xiang Xuanxuan's temperament, she is a mama's girl, different from Xiang Wan. Except Xiang Wan, everyone else in the family is an outlier. Chapter 19, Put the blame on her. Xianxian, since your brother-in-law said so, why don't you ask his friend to buy it for you? You can save a lot of money. As soon as Xiang Wan finished speaking, Xiang Xianxian put down her chopsticks, went back to Xiang Wan's room angrily, and slammed the door. Xiang Wan was confused for a moment. Xiang Wan came back from her daze and quickly apologized to Shao Jin. I'm sorry Mr. Shao, my sister is not usually like this. I don't know what happened today. Xiang Wan was also confused. I was thinking of asking Xiang Xianxian about it later. The meal ended in silence. Just when Xiang Wan wanted to go back to her room to see Xiang Xianxian, Shao Jin called her into the study. This was the first time she had entered his office since they had lived together. The grey and cold style is just like him, cold and indifferent. Look at this. Xiang Wan took the document handed over by Shao Jin. She opened it without knowing what was going on, and when she saw what was stated on it, she looked up in surprise. This is impossible. Her sister has been giving money to Xiang's mother all the time. And it's her money. I always thought Xiang Xianxian was on her side. She just refused to let me use my connections to buy a computer, which is enough to prove that the contents of this document are true. Are you investigating our family? Xiang Wan, who was the first to react, looked straight at Shao Jin. Did I do something bad with good intentions? I saw your sister asking you for 5,000 yuan, and I saw that her purpose was not simple, so I asked my connections to investigate. Shao Jin added calmly, sorry, I won't meddle in other people's business next time. He sat in the wide chair, turned on the computer, and didn't even glance at her. Obviously, this man also has a temper. Xiang Wan. Anyway, I still want to thank him. Otherwise, she doesn't know when she will have to give Xiang Xianxian living expenses. I'm sorry, that's not what I meant. Seeing that Shao Jin still ignored her, she said, I won't disturb you from working. I'll go out first. Coming to the second bedroom, she closed the door and saw Xiang Xianxian still sitting on the bed angrily. Xiang Wan just stared at her like that, and Xiang Xianxian felt uneasy. Sister, why are you looking at me like that? You just want to save the 2005. Let me ask you, did you give the living expenses I gave you to your mother? And the 5,000 yuan, you didn't use it to buy a notebook, did you? Xiang Xuanxuan's eyes were stunned for a second, as if she didn't expect that she already knew about this. You went through so much trouble to come back to see me just to take these $5,000 from me. Xiang Xianxian, wake up. Mom is only trying to subsidize Xiang Zijuan. She has never thought about you and me. If Xiang's mother had been good to Xiang Xianxian, she would not have sent her to be raised by relatives in order to avoid the family planning policy. Sister. It's you who should wake up. My brother and I are family. A daughter who is married off is like spilled water. Mom will have to rely on my brother to support her in the future. You and I will not be by their side after we get married. What's wrong with subsidizing my brother? He is our biological brother, not our enemy. I haven't graduated from college yet. If I did, I wouldn't be like you and not give them money. All the money I earn would go to them. After all, it's not easy for our parents to raise us. Xiang Xuanxuan's words were very convincing and reasonable. This made Xiang Wan's eyes widen. This was the first time that she realized what kind of person Xiang Xianxian was. She has always been helping her sister. My own sister actually turned the tables on me and instilled this idea into her. Chapter 20, A Dispute. From childhood to adulthood, whenever I asked them for a penny, they would say I was a money loser. Whenever something goes wrong, they say I'm the jinx that brought them such bad luck. In junior high school, I had a high fever that wouldn't go away, so I was hospitalized for injections. No one stayed with me at night, saying that the hospital beds were too hard to sleep on. You know, I was in a coma at that time, and my parents didn't even stay with me for a day. I left the hospital on my own. Xiang Wan listed the crimes of Xiang's father and mother, her eyes red. Because the sound was so loud, Shao Jin in the study could hear it clearly. His eyes dimmed. Why must daughters pay for the family while sons can just sit back and enjoy the fruits of their labor? You just said that Xiang Zijuan would support my parents. Ask yourself, with Xiang Zijuan's character, will it be you or me who will support them in the future, or will he? We are just married daughters, not dead. Why can't we show filial piety by her bedside? This is a common phenomenon in their village, where daughters buy things for their parents' home and sons and daughters-in-law reap the benefits. When it comes time for the parents to grow up, the daughter will pay every penny, and it is the daughter who mostly serves by the bedside. But many people in big cities don't have this kind of thinking. Xiang Xianxian was left speechless by Xiang Wan's retort. It was the first time she saw her sister so angry. Think about yourself again, how do they love you? If they love you, they won't give you away. It should be Xiang Zijuan who should be sent away. If they love you, they wouldn't have ignored you for so many years and waited until you went to college before thinking of getting you back from your relatives. They just see that you have grown up and are able to be filial to them. Xiang Wan said this with gritted teeth, looking at this disappointing sister. Coco. Xiang Xianxian couldn't say anything anymore. I will no longer give you living expenses. If you can earn your living expenses by working part-time, then use the money from your part-time job. Go home now and tell them that I won't give them the $5,000. And don't even think about taking a penny from me in the future. Xiang Wan angrily opened the door and signaled Xiang Xianxian to leave. Xiang Xuanxuan's eyes were red and she bit her lips, feeling extremely aggrieved. Without wasting any more time, he simply packed up and left in a hurry. After Xiang Xianxian left, Xiang Wan's body softened and he fell to the ground. She bent her knees, hugged her legs, and buried her little face in them. Shao Jin had already come out when Xiang Xianxian left. Seeing Xiang Wan crying so hard, he wanted to touch her hair to comfort her, but when he was about to touch her, his hand stopped in mid-air. Then don't associate with them anymore. Even he himself didn't realize that his voice was exceptionally gentle. Her aggrieved look moved him a little. Xiang Wan's crying body froze. She sniffed, wiped her tears with the back of her hand, and nodded. There's nothing to cry about. I've always been alone anyway, and I'll be my own supporter from now on. Somehow, Shao Jin felt a pain in his heart when he heard her say that. When people are in a bad mood, drinking is a way to vent. Can I take you out for a drink? I glanced at the sky and saw that it was already evening, so it was just the right time to drink. Xiang Wan frowned, thinking about having to go to work early tomorrow morning. But, she wants to let loose tonight. Good. Chapter 21 Asking for another man's contact information in front of him. In the quiet bar. The man on the stage was singing, and there were many people drinking below. But most of them are couples. It's not as noisy here as in the bar, so it's just right to bring her here. He ordered some wine that was not too strong and saw her take a sip and utter an exclamation of approval. It's quite delicious. The blue wine was very beautiful. Xiang Wan had never seen wine of this color before, and it didn't taste like the white wine that would irritate the throat. Drink less. Shao Jin instructed her. Xiang Wan didn't take this sentence to heart. She drank one sip after another, one cup after another, until her head felt a little dizzy, and two Shao Jin appeared in front of her. Huh? How did you become two? She pointed at Shao Jin's head that was shaking back and forth. This woman got drunk so quickly. He saw that her cheeks were red, her eyes were blurry, and even the finger pointing at him was shaking. Just as I was thinking about whether to take Xiang Wan away now, a voice suddenly came. Cousin. Xu Chuan approached and saw Shao Jin's face. When I saw the car parked at the door, I was wondering how could you come to such a place. I didn't expect it was really you. Why would his cousin come to such a niche quiet bar? Most of them are high-end clubs. Shao Jin gestured to him. Only then did Xu Chuan discover Xiang Wan. He recognized the woman as his sister-in-law at first sight. Grandma Shao showed it to him specifically after confiscating Shao Jin's marriage certificate. She also told him to find a girlfriend and get married as soon as possible. Sister-in-law. Xu Chuan immediately sat next to Shao Jin and looked at the woman in front of him with curiosity and inquiry. Their whole family wanted to meet Xiang Wan, but Shao Jin protected her too well and was reluctant to bring her back. This time, Grandma Shao told Shao Jin to bring him back to the birthday party, and only then did Shao Jin relent. Now, he wants to show off in the family group that he is the first person to meet his sister-in-law. Who are you? Xiang Wan was so drunk that she could hardly speak clearly. I'm Shao Jin's cousin, my name is Xu Chuan, hello sister-in-law. Xiang Wan saw the other party extending his hand. She shook her head vigorously to keep herself awake. Xu Chuan wanted to reach out and shake hands again, but after receiving Shao Jin's glare, he immediately retracted his hand. The more she looked at him, the more she felt that Xu Chuan was very suitable for Tang Mianyan. He has a cheerful personality and good looks, which makes him 100 times better than Shao Jin's icy face. Where do you work? Xiang Wan began to inquire about Xu Chuan. Her head became more and more confused, and her face flushed red. In Shao Jin's opinion, she was looking at Xu Chuan with an infatuated look. This made his face turn black all over. My cousin and I work in the same company. He's a driver and I'm a clerk. Thinking that his cousin was still playing the role of an ordinary person, he naturally could not reveal his identity. Sure group. Upon hearing this, Xiang Wan became excited. Can you give me your contact information? Xiang Wan immediately took out her cell phone and planned to write down Xu Chuan's contact information. Shao Jin's face turned even darker. She remembered that she had asked him for the contact information of Shao Brothers' employees before. If you dare to provoke others under his nose. Moreover, they are his relatives. Xu Chuan was stunned for a moment and took a look at his cousin's dark face. Even if he wanted to give his contact information, he didn't dare to. Oh no, do you have a girlfriend? Xiang Wan thought about it and realized that if the other party had a girlfriend, it would not be okay to ask for his contact information. Hey Shao Jin, what are you doing? Chapter 22 Kissed her. He forcefully pulled Xiang Wan out of her seat, opened the door and threw her on the passenger seat. Her back hit the back of the chair hard, and she frowned in pain. She was dissatisfied and wanted to struggle to leave, but he pressed the back of the chair with one hand, holding her in place. Your true nature is revealed so soon. Shao Jin looked at her tipsy appearance, which was very similar to those pretentious women who usually seduced him. But the difference is, she's not pretending. Exposing what? Xiang Wan didn't understand why, but the faint fragrance emanating from his body lingered in her nose. She had drunk some wine and was now in this small space. The ambiguous posture made her face turn red instantly. Why are you asking my cousin for contact information? Xiang Wan. My friend is single, so I asked for it from my friend. You didn't want to give it to me, so I had to ask for it myself. Xiang Wan looked at him with a pair of innocent big eyes. Shao Jin felt a little uncomfortable, but it only appeared on his face for a second. The next moment he closed the car door and sat in the passenger seat. Xiang Wan suddenly leaned close to his face and smiled. Are you jealous? Do you think I'm looking for another partner? Shao Jin. This woman really dares to say anything. Are you jealous? If you are jealous, just tell me. I can understand. Under the influence of alcohol, Xiang Wan winked at him, which made him frown. I find that you are a woman who is really good at imagining things. Although there is no love between us, I will not allow anyone to plant grass on my head before I divorce you. Shao Jin said as he drove the car. Xiang Wan sighed heavily, causing Shao Jin to turn his head to look at her. I find you to be a very boring person. Do you have an emotional disorder? We have been living together, and I have never heard you call other women. Or maybe you don't have an emotional disorder, but something else is wrong with you. Xiang Wan thought about it carefully. They were living under the same roof, and any other man would probably have some thoughts about it. After all, she is a girl, and it is impossible for a man to remain indifferent. But this man has no interest in women? Or is he a homosexual? So when marrying a wife, you need to get approval from her family. Thinking of this, Xiang Wan shuddered all over. Her thoughts were seen through by Shao Jin, who was standing beside her. Kai. There was a sound of wheels rubbing against the ground, and the car stopped quickly. Xiang Wan fell forward, and his back hit the back of the chair hard. Do you want to try if there's anything wrong with me? Shao Jin pinched her chin and moved closer to her. Their eyes met, and panic flashed in Xiang Wan's eyes. He originally wanted to scare her, but he didn't expect her reaction to be like this, which made Shao Jin feel playful. He gradually approached her, and just when their lips were about to touch, Xiang Wan quickly slapped him. Although she didn't use much force, it made Shao Jin very angry. He kissed her directly, for just a second, and then let go. His parents never hit him, and neither did his brothers and sisters. Those women, let alone beating him, all of them kept chasing after him. Xiang Wan was stunned for a second, then wiped her mouth fiercely with her hand. Her first kiss was gone just like that. The harder Shao Jin wiped, the angrier he became. This woman seemed to be avoiding him. Suddenly, Xiang Wan's cell phone rang. She picked it up and saw that it was a call from her mother. As soon as Xiang Wan answered the phone, before she could even open her mouth, she heard some sarcastic words from her mother. Chapter 23. I want to lean on you for a while. Xiang Wan, you are outrageous. It would be fine if you didn't give your sister money, but you even drove her back home. You don't give your sister living expenses, and you expect me to give her living expenses. Now hurry up and return the 5,000 yuan you took out. Your brother wants to get a new phone. I gave birth to you and raised you. Do you think you're losing out by giving some money to your brother? You're such a heartless person. If a dog can make its owner happy, what's the point of raising you? You ungrateful bastard. I really regret giving birth to you. Every word from Xiang's mother pierced Xiang Wan's heart. She had just turned on the loudspeaker, and her words echoed in the silent carriage. Shao Jin's brows twisted into the shape of a character after hearing this. Maybe it was because she drank, this time Xiang Wan's tears did not fall like before. Speak. Are you in the wrong? Xiang's mother still refused to give in. Suddenly, the cell phone in her hand was snatched away, and when she reacted, Shao Jin had already got it in his hand. First, in her heart, she doesn't want to have a mother like you. You don't need to regret giving birth to her. She regrets that you are her mother. Second, legally, children have joint inheritance rights. Anything under your name belongs to Xiang Wan half, not your son. Third, as an older sister, she has no obligation to support her younger brother. The more Shao Jin saw her aggrieved look, the more his heart ached. This woman had actually been bullied to this extent. If she were in the Shao family, she would be held in the palm of her hand. Xiangmu's family is not a normal family at all. Who are you? How dare you teach me a lesson? Mom, he is my brother-in-law. Xiang Xianxian, who was standing by, whispered to her mother. Xiang's mother suddenly thought of the man who took the 500,000 yuan betrothal gift, so he must be rich. Son-in-law. We are all family, why do you have to say such excessive things? Xiang Wan and her brother are family after all. As a brother-in-law, you are also a member of our family. In the future, my brother will have to trouble you more. 500,000 is not a small amount for Xiang's mother. Xiang's mother didn't care whether what Shao Jin said just now was excessive or not, and she immediately flattered him. But Shao Jin just felt that these words were ridiculous. Every penny Xiang Wan earns is the common property of the couple. After we get married, I can get back the money she gave to Xiang Xianxian. The more Shao Jin listened, the more disgusted he felt. Having seen countless people in the business world, he had never imagined that one day he would have to face an unreasonable old woman. Get it back. I call you son-in-law to give you face. Don't think that just because you gave us 500,000 yuan as a betrothal gift, it will be fine. If you don't give us money to honor us, I will let Xiang Wan divorce you. Xiang Wan. Shao Jin. Mom, I'll be back in a few days and we'll talk it out. Xiang Wan took the phone from him and turned it off. Xiang's mother called again without giving up, and Xiang Wan immediately turned on the flight mode. She turned her head away and looked out the window. She was already mostly sober now. Seeing her like this, Shao Jin felt distressed and reached out to stroke the back of her head. Xiang Wan's whole body stiffened, and the next moment, her eyes were filled with tears. It had been so long since anyone had comforted her like this. This action made her feel warm and even more aggrieved. Until the car drove into the community parking lot, she turned back to look at him. Can I lean on him for a while? Chapter 24, Forced. For a long while, Shao Jin remained indifferent. She sighed, forget it, get off. With their relationship, it's normal for him not to let her get close to him. Just as she opened the door to get out, her arm tightened, and the man moved closer to her, with his head leaning on him. Thanks. Xiang Wan felt a sudden warmth in her heart. It has been a long time since she has been so dependent on someone. No one spoke in the car. The quiet atmosphere and the yellowish light inside the car made the picture of her snuggling together more harmonious. Just now Shao Jin was waiting for her to come over, but after waiting for a while, she actually wanted to get off the car. He has a severe misophobia, but he doesn't mind her approaching him. The kiss just now could not be erased from his mind. He frowned until he heard the sound of steady and even breathing, and moved his body, but so that she didn't move. Only then was I sure she was asleep. Just as he was about to take action, WeChat on his phone rang. Shao Jin glanced at her who was still sleeping and muted his phone. With just one glance, I saw the message sent by Xiang in the family group. In just 1 second, the family group started bombarding one after another. He opened it and saw a photo. It was none other than the photo of him kissing her just now. The posture was extremely ambiguous. Xiang, I risked my life to post this picture. Qing, brother, you are really nice. My cousin is forcing himself on me. Xiao's father, your grandmother will have a chance to hold the baby. Grandma Xiao, I knew my daughter-in-law would pick the right person. Look, she has taken control of my good grandson. Dozens of people in the family group posted a message. He pinched his eyebrows and got out of the car. He opened the passenger door again, carried her out of the car and went home. After this sleep, there is no doubt that I woke up late in the evening. Slept until 10 o'clock in the morning. This was also the best sleep she had ever had. You're going to be fined, hurry up R. She moved as fast as the wind and didn't see the person in front of her and bumped into him. She rubbed her forehead which was hurt from the collision and said, I'm sorry, Mr. Xiao. Drinking really messed things up. The last sentence was murmured by her as she avoided him. I have to go to the company too, so I'll give you a ride on the way. Shao Jin said. Xiang Wan did not refuse and agreed readily. Taking the subway is not slow, but she still has to walk for a while to get to the subway station, and after getting off the subway she still has to walk for a while to get to school. This will take a lot of time. Inside the car. She answered Tang Nian's call. No hurry, no hurry. I just asked Principal Yu for leave. Take your time. She and Tang Nian had an agreement that whoever came late would ask for leave for the other. But this time it's different. She still had one class left and now had obviously missed it. Don't ask for leave for me. I'm already a minor, and no one helps me with my classes. Don't worry, Principal Yu has arranged for another teacher to take your place. It's just right for you to take that teacher's class this afternoon. Tang Nian was blocked, she didn't want to owe anyone a favor. Xiang Wan, you really need to make plans for your future. You will divorce your husband sooner or later. Why don't you consider Principal Yu who has always had a crush on you? Tang Nian said jokingly. And Xiang Wan turned on the loudspeaker. I won't say anything for now. It would be fine if she talked about these with Tang Nian in private, but she still couldn't let Shao Jin know. She secretly glanced at him as he got the car, and was relieved to see that he had no expression on his face. After all, this man had said before that he didn't want to have grass on his head. If I misunderstand her again, it will be bad to have a quarrel. Chapter 25 Birthday. All the way to the school gate, Shao Jin didn't say a word. What time do you go to Grandma's house tonight? It was Xiang Wan who asked the question first. I'll pick you up at 7. Shao Jin gave her a cold look. Xiang Wan didn't dare to say much about his changeable expression. She said goodbye and went into the school. As soon as Xiang Wan left, Shao Jin drove all the way to the company. As soon as I entered the office, I saw Xiang coming early to confess his crime. Xiang, who was good at observation, saw Shao Jin's unhappy face and immediately asked cautiously, Did your sister-in-law offend you again? I see you've been bored lately, and I just happen to have a project. I'm busy. Very busy. Xiang quickly interrupted Shao Jin's words, and thought to himself, it seems that he was right. It was my sister-in-law who provoked him. If you keep me so busy, who will help you with small chores in the future? You don't trust others, right? Xiang was grinning. Your words remind me. Go check the background of Principal Yu at Xiang Wan School. Xiang leaned forward and sniffed deliberately, Why do I smell a sour odor? Is this principal interested in my sister-in-law? Just check it if I ask you to. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Shao Jin glanced at him and started picking up the documents at hand. Okay. Xu Chuan agreed readily. When he reached the office door, he stopped and looked back at Shao Jin. Anything else? Shao Jin raised an eyebrow in question. Xu Chuan quickly shook his head and slipped away. If Shao Jin had been like in the past, he would definitely be angry about the photos he posted in the family group last night and would want to settle the score with him. He came to confess his crime early in the morning, but Shao Jin didn't even mention it. There is definitely something fishy. After Xu Chuan left, Shao Jin searched for the photo that Xu Chuan sent in the family group on his mobile phone. He pressed save and saved it to his photo album. This guy has pretty good photography skills. He was very angry when he saw it last night, but somehow, after what happened this morning, he was not so angry anymore. Xiang Wan, who was sitting in the office, sneezed. She touched her nose. Who is talking about me? Maybe it's your husband. Tang Yanyan added, with an ambiguous look in his eyes. He won't nag me. Xiang Wan thought of Shao Jin's changeable face and immediately denied the matter. That may not be the case. Tang Yanyan thought that Xiang Wan was going to Shao Jin's house tonight. You are at his grandmother's birthday party tonight. You should talk less and watch more to see what kind of people this family is like. If there were a few people like Xiang Wan's parents, Xiang Wan would suffer. We are just living together, others are not important. Shao Jin is not that important. Xiang Wan said this in her heart. She felt that they had their own place to live and would not have anything to do with those people. It's always better to be careful. Xiang Wan nodded. It was not until 7 o'clock in the evening that Shao Jin appeared at the school gate on time. She asked Tang Yanyan to watch over her during evening study tonight, and opened the passenger door and got in the car. Should we go directly, or go back home? You didn't bring anything. Shao Jin turned his head and looked at her. I brought it. I just wanted to ask. She smiled and brought the gift she carved for Grandma Shao to school this morning, but she wanted to go back and change her clothes as she felt that the clothes she was wearing were not solemn enough. Chapter 26 Pretending to be poor. About 20 minutes later. The car was parked in an old and dilapidated community. There are no proper parking spaces in the community, so everyone has to park on the roadside. The Maybach driven by Shao Jin was particularly eye-catching. I finally found an empty space and stopped, and then cars came one after another. Xiang Wan got out of the car and looked around, but there was not even a camera. If it gets scratched, we won't be able to find out who did it. Shao Jin took out a painting from the trunk and walked forward with Xiang Wan. His grandmother really went to great lengths to help him conceal his identity. I bought an old and dilapidated house temporarily. According to his grandmother, she made special inquiries and found out that most elderly people live in such old and small communities, and on the first floor. According to Xu Chuan, it is only about 100 square meters. It can accommodate more than 30 people. Shao Jin didn't dare to imagine that kind of scene. Following the schematic diagram Xu Chuan had drawn for him in his mind, he led Xiang Wan around in circles and finally found the place. You are Wan, right? The door was not closed and there was a crowd of people inside, led by an elderly and kind man. Xiang Wan recognized it as Grandma Shao at first sight. Hello, Grandma. Grandma Shao warmly grabbed her hand and walked inside. In an instant, the relatives who were trying their best to see what Xiang Wan looked like made way for her. It was the first time she met such a large family. It seems that most of the people who came were relatives from Shao Jin's mother's side. It was the first time that she saw a family with such a good family atmosphere. Hello, sister-in-law. The first one to come out was Xu Qing, who took Xiang Wan's arm from the other side and said, I'm Xu Chuan's sister, Xu Qing. You should know Xu Chuan, right? It's him. You should have seen him before. These people had already gossiped about it. Xu Chuan met Shao Jin and Xiang Wan in Jing Bar and took the photo secretly. Xiang Wan was a little overwhelmed by this sudden enthusiasm. She nodded quickly and smiled at Xu Chuan as a greeting. You people, don't scare my granddaughter-in-law. Grandma Shao took her to sit on the sofa and looked at the group of people in front of them. Grandma Shao began to introduce her. This is Shao Jin's uncle, Xu Chuan, and Xu Qing are his children. Hello, uncle. Xiang Wan called out politely. That's my second uncle, those are his children, my third uncle, they are Shao Jin's aunts. After the introductions, Xiang Wan grinned, and the corners of his mouth were almost stiff. More than 30 people were crammed into this house of about 100 square meters. Except for her and Grandma Shao, who were sitting down, the others were standing. This is a gift from your granddaughter-in-law. Shao Jin took out Xiang Wan's gift, which was a human figure carved out of wood. It is a photo of him and Grandma Shao, and it has been painted, making it look lifelike. Did you carve this? Grandma Shao looked at Xiang Wan with shining eyes. Well, as long as Grandma likes it. I like it. I like it. Grandma Shao looked at it from left to right and liked it very much. She handed it to Father Shao and told him to keep it well. Shao Jin also gave the calligraphy and painting to Shao's father. Soon, Grandma Shao arranged for the family of more than 30 to have dinner at a restaurant at the entrance of the community. The table was so big that it could accommodate 3 large round tables. Xiang Wan had made a lot of mental preparations before coming, but she didn't expect the meal to be so relaxing. It was just that Grandma Shao was intentionally or unintentionally inducing labor during the meal, and Xiang Wan was vague about it. Wait until Xiang Wan and Shao Jin leave the community. I didn't give myself away, did I? Did I act well just now? I said I was a courier. What about me? I said I run a small supermarket. The group of people became more and more excited as they talked. Chapter 27, Visiting Mother. Xu Chuan looked at those people and sighed. Each of them is an elite in their respective industries. Leading doctors, investment elites, top painters, hackers, etc. And among the elders, all of them have wealthy families and run their own companies. Now I have to pretend. What if one day, Xiang Wan discovered the truth? His cousin is miserable, he is waiting for the day when he will end up in the crematorium after chasing his wife. Okay, everyone go back to your homes. Help me bring my granddaughter-in-law's gift back to the villa. I want to display it properly. The more Grandma Shao looked at Xiang Wan, the more she liked her. She was well behaved, obedient and gentle. As soon as Grandma Shao spoke, everyone left the small, old and dilapidated community. More than 20 luxury cars were parked in the parking lot of a nearby shopping mall. Xiang Wan sat in the passenger seat, and a heavy stone in her heart was finally put down. Your family is pretty easy to get along with. I recalled Shao Jin's cousins, they were all very likable. And the elders, I don't know if it's an illusion, but they all seemed to like her. That kind of love was something she had never felt in her previous family. Easy to get along with. The corners of Shao Jin's lips curled up in an imperceptible arc. His brothers and sisters are not easy to get along with, and they are all decisive and resolute in business. It was just their first time meeting Xiang Wan, and they were curious and gossipy, plus their grandma had given them instructions, so they were so active. You don't think so? Xiang Wan turned her head and looked at him suspiciously. Well, they are very obedient. They never dared to act rashly in front of him. But since you can afford the 500,000 yuan betrothal gift, why don't you buy a better house for Grandma? Although there are many elderly people living in this old and dilapidated house, the facilities there are outdated and the first floor is particularly damp. She looked at the furniture and found it was very old. It was completely different from the furniture in the house they lived in now. Shao Jin. He also didn't expect that his grandmother could achieve such a realistic level. In that old and run-down neighborhood, even the house their servants live in is better than this one. They didn't even carry jewelry or bags with them, and even the clothes they were wearing were probably bought cheaply. I mentioned changing some furniture before, but Grandma disagreed because she was afraid I would spend money. You know, old people are used to being frugal. Shao Jin found an excuse and brushed it off. Xiang Wan nodded, agreeing with him. But she already had an idea in her mind, which was to buy Grandma Shao a new TV first. She noticed that Grandma Shao's TV was very old and even the remote control was broken in half. Although she and Shao Jin would eventually divorce, she did take a betrothal gift of 500,000 yuan from him after all. At this moment, Xiang Wan's cell phone rang, and it was her mother calling. Her good mood was gone, and she frowned as she answered the phone. What? I said I'm at your door, I've been knocking for a long time, where are you? Why are you here? Xiang Wan knew that it must be Xiang's mother who forced Xiang Xianxian to know the address. I'm your mother, why can't I come over? Didn't you say you wanted to see me? Now I'll take the initiative to come and see you. You don't have to run back to see me. There was anger in Xiang Mu's tone. Come back quickly. Xiang's mother hung up the phone. She knocked on the door but no one answered. She waited for another half an hour, but no one came back. She couldn't help but call Xiang Wan. Don't worry. Shao Jin comforted her. Xiang Wan's heart was in a mess. And so I arrived home. The two of them came out of the elevator and saw Xiang's mother, and Xiang Zijuan was there too. Chapter 28. Kick him away. Hey! You're back? If someone didn't know, they would think you were hiding from us on purpose. Xiang Zijuan was lying there with his hands in his pockets, looking like a gangster. You came to my daughter's house so late at night. If someone didn't know you, they would think you were just trying to get money. Shao Jin raised his eyebrows and looked at Xiang Zijuan sharply. Xiang Zijuan shivered for no reason and hid behind his mother timidly. What do you mean by asking for money? It's really awkward for a son-in-law to say that. This was the second time Xiang's mother met Shao Jin. The first time she met him, he was polite and gentle, but this time he became cold. This made Xiang's mother somewhat afraid, and she didn't know what kind of person this son-in-law was. If she can't control Shao Jin, how can she control her own daughter? You don't want us to stand here and talk, do you? Xiang's mother smiled and pulled Xiang Wan's hand. Xiang Wan couldn't make the decision on this matter. After all, it was Shao Jin's house. Shao Jin opened the door, and after several people went in, he sat on the sofa with his legs crossed. His cold gaze shifted from Xiang's mother's face to Xiang Zijuan's face. This solemn atmosphere made Xiang's mother, who was already angry at home and wanted to ask Xiang Wan for money, lose her confidence. There was timidity in his eyes as he looked back and forth between the two of them. Xiang Zijuan couldn't stand it anymore and spoke first. We are here to ask you for money. If you can give me money, give it to me. If you can't, divorce him. Mom and I have heard from my second sister that you and him are not a couple at all. Xiang Zijuan walked around the house with his hands in his pockets and opened a door at random. Coincidentally, it was the second bedroom where Xiang Wan lived. Sleeping in separate rooms. Sister, you can do anything to get away from home. Do you think you can get rid of us by marrying someone randomly? We have the same blood. Xiang Zijuan's last words made Xiang's mother's eyes flicker. There's no room for you here. If you're here for money, you can leave. Xiang Wan opened the door and motioned them to go out with a cold face. We won't leave. We'll live here. What can you do to me? Xiang's mother sat down on the sofa, suddenly met Shao Jin's gaze, and immediately looked away in fright. Do you want to leave by yourselves, or do you want me to have someone escort you? As soon as these words fell, several security guards in uniform appeared at the door. How do you do things? You let someone in who is not from this community. Shao Jin took the initiative and glanced at Xiang's mother and Xiang Zijuan. The security guards looked at each other and apologized repeatedly. Sorry, it was our negligence. We will ask them to leave now. The security guards walked towards Xiang's mother and Xiang Zijuan respectively and made a please gesture. Okay, let's wait and see. Shao Jin was very disgusted by Xiang Zijuan's arrogant look. If his younger brothers and sisters showed this kind of expression, they would have been taught a lesson long ago. He was able to endure it and call the security guards to take them away, which was really giving Xiang Wan enough face. Mom, if they don't welcome us, why are we still here? When Xiang Zijuan passed by Xiang Wan, he patted her face and said, I hope you won't regret it. Suddenly, he grabbed Xiang Wan's jaw. Bang! Xiang Zijuan flew out and fell heavily on the ground at the door. Son! Xiang's mother ran to Xiang Zijuan in panic. Xiang Wan's whole body was stiff. Did Shao Jin just kick Xiang Zijuan in the stomach? Chapter 29. Declaration of Sovereignty. Xiang Zijuan was seen holding his stomach and crying. Mom, please teach her a lesson, she is really rebelling against her, oh. Before Xiang Zijuan could finish his words, Shao Jin stepped on his face. Xiang's mother hurriedly tried to move Shao Jin's feet, but no matter how hard she tried, it seemed as if the feet were welded to Xiang Zijuan's face. Keep your mouth clean. Shao Jin slowly withdrew his foot. The security guard nearby was stunned by the scene. Don't let them in again. Shao Jin gave the security guard a warning look, then returned to the room and closed the door. So stupid. Don't you know how to resist? Suddenly, she was tapped on the forehead. Tears fell to the floor. Did it hurt you? Shao Jin rubbed her forehead nervously. No. She gave him a big smile. It means that from now on, I will no longer have a family. After this time, she would never tolerate them again. Shao Jin was speechless for a moment. After saying go to bed early to Xiang Wan, he returned to his bedroom. The next morning, as usual, she got up early, made breakfast, and then went to school. The only difference was that Shao Jin was going to the company and gave her a ride. She had just got off the bus at the school gate and happened to run into Yu Jichin. Xiang Wan, good morning. Hello, Principal Yu. At some point, Shao Jin got out of the car and walked up to her. I happened to be working overtime tonight, so I came to pick you up on the way. Shao Jin reached out to help her tuck a strand of hair behind her ear, and his look was so affectionate. He recognized Yu Jichin at a glance. Xu Chuan had thoroughly investigated his background information. How dare a vice president covet his woman? Xiang Wan knew that this guy was acting. This man is really stingy. Is he so afraid of having grass on his head? She wouldn't do anything out of line. After thinking about it, she decided to take this opportunity to explain to Yu Jichin, Principal Yu, this is my husband. She took his arm and looked at Yu Jichin with a smile. The word, husband, made Shao Jin feel very happy. When Shao Jin saw Yu Jichin stiffen up and a hint of loneliness in his eyes, he felt even happier. Go. Shao Jin pulled out his arm and looked at Xiang Wan tenderly. Xiang Wan shuddered all over. The man's disguise gave her goosebumps. He hurriedly walked into the school. After a whole morning, Xiang Wan was about to take a nap when she heard Tang Niannian's anxious voice. Xiang Wan, look at this live broadcast, is it your mother? Xiang Wan took a quick glance and just happened to see Xiang's mother's crying face. The shrew sat on the ground, crying and howling, this is so unfair. The driver who drives for the boss in your company is my son-in-law. He instigated my daughter to bully me. He beat my son until he was paralyzed in bed. Please ask for leave for me, I'll go out for a while. She underestimated Xiang's mother and actually ran to the door of Shao Jin's company and made a scene. We must not cause trouble for Shao Jin. Xiang Wan rushed to Shao Jin's company. Sure enough, Xiang's mother was seen slumped on the ground, howling with snot and tears. Mom! Stop embarrassing yourself and get up quickly. This has nothing to do with Shao Jin. I inadvertently saw Shao Jin had already walked out of the company's door. She rushed to him and said, why did you come out? Go back in quickly. She can't let her mother catch Shao Jin, otherwise Shao Jin will lose his job. Secretary Shao Jin, who was not far away, had already called the police and hurried over to report to his CEO, Boss Shao. Shao Jin gave him a glare. Chapter 30 exposed. The secretary was a little confused. He glanced at Xiang Wan and called out cautiously, Mr. Shao. Mr. Shao's driver, you are here. Xu Chuan rushed over, put his arm around the secretary's neck, and greeted Xiang Wan with a playful smile. What a coincidence, sister-in-law, you are here too. Xiang Wan nodded. She didn't think much about the secretary's way of addressing Shao Jin. What she was thinking about now was how to get Xiang's mother away from here and stop her from making trouble. Xu Chuan was very considerate. He put his arm around his secretary's neck and left. As they walked, she scolded him in a low voice, you almost ruined your CEO's plan just now. If that woman appears in the future, you. In order to avoid any accidents next time, Xu Chuan first explained the matter to his secretary. I'm sorry, I'll let her. Before Xiang Wan finished speaking, Xiang's mother rushed over and hugged Shao Jin's legs. She started to cry and scream, everyone come and take a look. This is my son-in-law. He beat my son so badly that he was seriously injured. This is so unfair. I married my daughter to him, and he treated our family like this. You all can judge for yourself. He shouted to his mother at the top of his lungs, and even shed a few tears. The staff in the hall looked at each other in confusion. When did Mr. Shao get married? I haven't heard of it. And became the boss's driver. This is even more unbelievable. Several shore staff members winked at each other, responding to what was being said in each other's minds. They didn't even dare to breathe, and could only use this method to satisfy their curiosity for gossip. Who is Mr. Shao? He is a very powerful figure in the business world, and any big boss has to be polite to him when they meet him. This reckless old woman is really courting death. Mom, don't embarrass yourself here, I'll take you away. Xiang Wan went to pull Xiang Mu's hand. The more she pulled, the tighter Xiang's mother held Shao Jin's legs. Don't pull me, you traitor. You've grown so powerful now that you don't care whether your father and I live or die. I want justice. Xiang Wan looked around and saw that the staff here were all at their posts, looking over here but not saying anything. This has already had a bad impact on Shao Jin. Xiang Wan took a deep breath and decided to go all out and defend herself here. I've given you a betrothal gift of 500,000 yuan. From childhood to adulthood, the expenses you've spent on me should not exceed 500,000 yuan. I earned all my tuition and living expenses, and you are still exploiting me. Am I your biological child? You know whether Xiang Zijuan is okay or not. From childhood to adulthood, when it comes to food, drink, and daily necessities, have you ever asked me to give in to Xiang Zijuan? You and Dad are so patriarchal that you forced me to marry just to give you the betrothal gift. Xiang's mother felt completely humiliated after being exposed in public. Shao Jin's face turned pale and he used force to pull Xiang Mu's hand away. He patted his trouser legs, frowning in disgust. Soon, the police arrived at the scene and took away Xiang's mother who was causing trouble. Xu Chuan, who was standing not far away, had already recorded all of this and sent it to the media. After Xiang Wan apologized to Shao Jin, she no longer had the mood to go back to school and returned home. Unexpectedly, the video pushed to his phone was the one where Xiang's mother made a scene at Shao Jin's company. And the thing about her talking. However, Shao Jin's face was blurred and could not be seen clearly. Chapter 31 is trending. Just as she was reading netizens' comments, Tang Nian called. She answered. Xiang Wan, your family's affairs have become a hot topic. Tang Nian was really excited. For so many years, Xiang Wan had been enduring and being bullied by the Xiang family. Now she was finally getting her retribution. I'm looking at. The comments from netizens are more vicious than each other. Some netizens even revealed that Xiang Zijuan was not hospitalized at all, and that Xiang's mother's cell phone number was found out and exposed. When Xiang Wan saw this, he felt mixed emotions. I'm telling you, you can't be soft-hearted and you can't interfere in this matter. You have to teach them a lesson and let them know that you are not so easy to bully. Tang Nian knew that Xiang Wan could not sever ties with that family, and there was no such thing as severing ties legally. Even if it was written down in black and white, she would not acknowledge it. As children, we have the responsibility and obligation to support them. Good. As long as no one in the Xiang family is in danger, she will not interfere. Was it posted online by an employee of Shao Jin's company? But she didn't see any employee recording with their cell phones. Forget it, I don't want to think about it anymore. Now many media outlets are reporting on this incident, and many people are reposting it. Anyone who has access to the internet can see it. Tang Nian's tone was light-hearted and cheerful, as if he had taken revenge on his enemy. The person who posted this video is really conscientious. He even knew to blur your husband's name. Otherwise, it might have really affected Shao Jin's work. What Tang Nian didn't know was that Xu Chuan didn't dare not to blur it either, because that was Shao Jin. Some group bosses also know what Shao Jin looks like. That's quite thoughtful. Although she was not blurred, fortunately Shao Jin was blurred. Hearing the sound of the door opening, Xiang Wan knew that Shao Jin had returned. Let's not talk about Nian for now. While hanging up the phone, Shao Jin had already walked up to her. Shao Jin heaved a sigh of relief when he saw that her face was calm and expressionless. On their way back, he was still wondering if he had gone too far. After all, she was her biological mother. I'm still wondering whether I should stop and not let public opinion continue to ferment. Seeing that she is fine now, I think it is within her acceptable range. You know. Xiang Wan knew what he was asking and nodded. Thank your colleagues in the company for me. After this incident comes out, I should be able to have some peace and quiet. It would be a lie to say that I'm not worried about my family's current situation. However, she will not interfere in this matter, and she probably cannot interfere in this matter. Since you are planning to leave home, you must not look back, you must not be soft-hearted, and you must not give them money anymore. The worry in Xiang Wan's eyes just now never escaped Shao Jin's eyes. Don't worry, I know what to do. She got married and started a family, and even if she gets divorced in the future, she will be alone. I finally escaped and will never go back to that house. Become a part of their family and be brainwashed by them. By the way, does this incident have any impact on your work? You can't see my face in the video, so it doesn't matter. That's good. Although she had already guessed that it would have no impact, she still wanted to hear it from his own mouth to confirm it before she could feel at ease. I haven't made dinner yet, what do you want to eat? She didn't expect Shao Jin to come back so early today, and because of this incident, she even forgot about cooking. Chapter 32, We Will Still Be Your Family. My order is on its way. Shao Jin guessed that she would be upset about what happened today, so he didn't plan to let her cook. I asked the servants in the villa to order dishes from the Pinwei restaurant. The servants should be on their way now. Shao Jin's cell phone rang. He took a look and saw that it was Grandma Shao calling. He reluctantly went to the side to answer it. Have you arrived home? Is Wan Wan okay? After seeing Xiang Wan's mother, Grandma Shao was very worried. She called him several times at the company and asked him to go home and check on Xiang Wan's condition. After finding out that Xu Chuan was the one who did it, Grandma Shao scolded him. Later, Shao Jin contacted several media outlets to report the incident, and the media also reposted comments, which made Grandma Shao even more worried. After all, this is Xiang Wan's family. It is somewhat inappropriate for outsiders like them to interfere, and they have not obtained Xiang Wan's consent. Just got home not long ago, she's fine. Shao Jin looked at Xiang Wan from a distance, and she looked at him with confusion on her face. I want to talk to my granddaughter-in-law, give her the phone. Grandma Shao, who had been worried for so long, naturally did not want to miss such an opportunity. Shao Jin didn't dare to disobey, and walked over to hand the phone to Xiang Wan. Grandma knows about this and is a little worried about you. She wants to talk to you. Xiang Wan was very surprised. She had only met Grandma Shao once, but she was so worried about her, which made her feel warm in her heart. Wan Wan, are you okay? It's okay. I've watched the video. You will be a member of our family from now on. No one will bully you anymore. If you have any problems in the future, tell Shao Jin and let him help you. If he bullies you, tell Grandma and she will take care of it for you. Grandma Shao's words were full of worry, which made Xiang Wan's nose suddenly sore. I'm fine, Grandma. Xiang Wan comforted Grandma Shao and reassured the old lady. I'll go see you tomorrow. I'll feel at ease only when I see that you're really okay. Grandma Shao was still worried. Xiang Wan didn't want to trouble the old lady with this matter, so she used various reasons and excuses, such as she had classes tomorrow, to prevent Grandma Shao from coming to see her. After chatting for another 5 minutes, Grandma Shao repeatedly confirmed from her that she was fine before hanging up the phone with relief. She handed the phone to Shao Jin and said, Everyone in your family is very warm. You will be a member of my family from now on. Shao Jin took the phone and said, Even if we get divorced, I can still treat you as my family. Xiang Wan gave a bitter smile the moment Shao Jin lowered his head. After the divorce, you can no longer be the head of the family. It should draw a clear line. Shao Jin glanced at the message on the phone screen and turned to open the door. The servant was already standing respectfully outside the door, carrying a large insulated lunch box. When he saw his young master was about to speak, he glanced at Xiang Wan and quickly swallowed the words he was about to say. Before coming, Mrs. Shao repeatedly warned them not to reveal the truth. Sir, your order. Give it to me. After Shao Jin brought in the thermal lunch box, he closed the door. Xiang Wan saw Shao Jin taking out the food, so she went over to help. When she saw that it was food from Pinwei Ju, she was very surprised. You got rich. Taste Restaurant is one of the properties under the Shore Group and is also the best restaurant in the city. I'm the boss's driver, so I get a discount, so it's not expensive. Shao Jin quickly found a suitable excuse. Is that so? Then if I go to eat there in the future, can I use your connections to get a discount? This was the first time she had the chance to eat at Pinweiju. If it was cheap, she would go there to try it. Chapter 33, Xiang Wan complains about the problem with Shore's president. Shao Jin responded indifferently, which was considered as his agreement. But your boss is really nice to you. Suddenly I'm a little curious about what he looks like. After the dishes were laid out one by one, she handed Shao Jin a pair of chopsticks, sat down, picked up a piece of meat and put it in her mouth, making a satisfied sound. Are you like a domineering boss like other women? Shao Jin raised his eyebrows, with a hint of seriousness in his tone. Who wouldn't he like it? Xiang Wan picked up another piece of different dish, put it in her mouth and chewed it carefully. It was really delicious, much better than the food she cooked. A boss is every woman's dream, but only if the boss is young and handsome. She smiled at him and said while eating, "Isn't the novel I write about a domineering CEO? Rich, handsome, and single. When he meets the heroine, they are both clean. Every woman wants to be the heroine in a domineering CEO. This is the truth, no one doesn't like a male protagonist who dotes on the female protagonist." Shao Jin's eyes flickered for a second. Maybe you can meet the hero in your novel. Except that they are not actually husband and wife, isn't everything else just a plot in the novel? Xiang Wan shook her head, very sure, impossible. Didn't I say that we need to be well matched? Shao Jin thought about it. She had said before that a domineering president needed to find a woman of equal status. Besides, even if I met a domineering boss who was young and handsome, he couldn't be both pure and innocent. In real life, rich men usually have many girlfriends, each one more extravagant than the other. Shao Jin had a blank expression on his face. That may disappoint you. What? Xiang Wan, who was eating with gusto, was confused by his words. I mean, our boss is a man of both purity and integrity, and he has never had a woman before. Cough cough cough. Xiang Wan was so surprised that she choked. She quickly poured herself a glass of water and drank it all in one gulp. After she felt better, she looked at him in astonishment, and after a long while she said, "You're an old man, and you don't have a woman yet." Damn. Damn old man. Shao Jin's temples were throbbing. This woman had the audacity to call him an old man. Many women flocked to him, but this was how he looked in her eyes. The corners of his mouth twitched. Yeah, think about it, to be able to reach the position of Shaw's president, he must be quite old. And he still hasn't had a real woman. Is there something wrong with him? Xiang Wan blinked at him and smiled. Shao Jin's face turned even darker than before. Don't explain yourself to your boss. I understand. Your boss is so good to you. You definitely don't want me to say this about him. Okay, let's not talk about him anymore. Let's eat. Xiang Wan smiled and picked up a piece of meat for Shao Jin and put it on his plate. Shao Jin. He suddenly wanted to pry open her head and see what she was thinking about. No young president? That's just that she hasn't encountered it. His friends are all young like him. Xiang Wan enjoyed the meal very much, but Shao Jin had no appetite. Xiang Wan couldn't stand seeing food being wasted, so she packed up the leftovers and put them in the refrigerator, planning to have a meal with them tomorrow. A student's parent asked me to give him tutoring. The price he paid was quite high. I won't be at home on weekends anymore. There are often inspections by superiors in the institution, so it would be better to give one-on-one lessons at students' homes. What's more, the money given by the other party made her very excited. Chapter 30 for this woman is crazy. There is one class in the morning and one class in the afternoon, a total of 4 hours. The weekend is 2 days long and is 8 hours. $2,000. 4 times a month, that's $8,000. You get up early and stay up late to go to school to supervise the morning and evening self-study classes, and on top of that you have a part-time job writing novels. Now you also have a part-time job on weekends. Do you still have time to write novels? Shao Jin felt that this woman might be crazy, being such a workaholic. To be exact, she probably wanted to make $1 million as quickly as possible. If hard work could make you rich, then migrant workers would have been millionaires long ago. Even if she saves like this, it will take a very long time to save up $1 million. Time can be squeezed out. If you squeeze it, you can always write. If you really can't, I will write more after the makeup classes on the weekend. Ever since Xiangmu pestered her more and more, she wanted to make plans for herself. Now she has not divorced Shao Jin, and she still has a house to live in. When they divorce, she will have to rent a house and will also have to face her parents urging her to remarry. All kinds of pressure make her decide to save money to buy a house as soon as possible. Okay, go to bed early, good night. Time is very precious to Xiang Wan now, she can't waste even a little bit. For the next whole month, Xiang Wan went out early and came back late, and she couldn't even have a good rest on weekends. In addition, After the last hot search incident, Xiang's mother bombarded her with phone calls, threatening and ordering her not to do anything that would be detrimental to the Xiang family again. Even though Xiang Wan blocked Xiang's mother, her mother didn't dare go out in the past month for fear of being recognized. But she was obviously tired. Every time I talk to Shao Jin, I feel depressed and my brain is not working properly. Shao Jin was really afraid that if she continued like this, she would die before she could earn $1 million. This matter soon reached Grandma Xiao's ears. Of course, it was Shao Jin who went to the company with a sour face every day, and Xuan asked about it indirectly, and then told the gossip to Grandma Xiao. Grandma Xiao immediately called Shao Jin. "Why are you so stubborn? Don't you see how hard Wan works? You still think she is a scheming woman? 1 million is not even pocket money for our Xiao family. Think of a way to give it to her. I'll give you 1 day to resolve this matter. If my granddaughter-in-law continues to work so hard and has health problems, I'll hold you accountable. If her granddaughter-in-law is always so busy, how can these two people improve their relationship?" Grandma Xiao hung up the phone angrily. Shao Jin pinched his brows. Now he didn't think Xiang Wan was scheming, it was just that there was no affection between them at all. Over the past month, Xiang Wan couldn't even muster the energy to talk to him, which made him very annoyed. He picked up his phone, found the other party's number, and dialed. That evening, Xiang Wan came back early, humming a song as she opened the door, only to see Shao Jin already back. She was startled, and smiled as she greeted him. "Hello, Mr. Shao. Leaving get off work so early?" Shao Jin still pretended to know nothing and asked her. Xiang Wan was very excited and couldn't help but share the good news with him. "Our school has changed the rules. From now on, I only need to attend for morning and evening self-study sessions a month." "Why did you change the rules out of nowhere?" Shao Jin deliberately continued what she was saying. "It seems that the principal feels that the class teacher is working too hard, so he has asked teachers of different subjects to take turns to supervise the morning and evening self-study classes. Moreover, no matter how much money was paid to the class teacher before, it will not be reduced in the future. This is what makes Xiang Wan most excited. Although there is less work, the money is not less." Chapter 35. My wife's name is Xiang Wan. Seeing that she was so happy, Shao Jin's depressed mood over the past month also brightened up at this moment, and a faint smile appeared at the corner of his lips. He did all this. He asked the principal to change the rule under the pretext of donating to the school. Mei Mingqiu said that the class teachers in their school work too hard and should combine work and rest to have better development prospects. Of course, the money given to the class teacher also comes from Shore Group. "Congratulations." Shao Jin's tone was flat. "I don't know what's wrong with Shore Group. They want to donate to our school. They really have so much money but nowhere to spend it. Shao Jin. He shouldn't have meddled in such matters. Let her die of exhaustion. Let's eat out today, it's my treat." She didn't seem to spend much money in this family. He gave her a credit card to use for household expenses, but she had little else to use it for except buying groceries. The dishes weren't expensive, and she was too lazy to use his credit card, so she paid for it herself. Most of the high-end ingredients were also brought home by Shao Jin. Xiang Wan felt a little guilty. Shao Jin accepted it with peace of mind. He helped her so much behind the scenes and invested so much money, he deserves this meal. It was the first time that Xiang Wan invited him to eat out, and she specially found a medium-sized restaurant. When our school teachers have dinner together, they always choose this restaurant. The special dishes here are also famous for being delicious. After Xiang Wan sat down, she handed him the menu and said, "Order whatever you want to eat." Shao Jin glanced at the menu and found an expensive dish. "This. Okay." Xiang Wan's heart was bleeding. That dish cost 600 yuan each. Shao Jin pointed at the dishes on the menu while observing Xiang Wan's expression. The more expensive the dish he pointed at, the more expressive her expression became. I decided not to tease her anymore and handed her the menu. "Come on, I've never been to this place." Xiang Wan took it with a smile and ordered some special dishes, 4 dishes and a soup, which was enough for the two of them. The phone rang, and Xiang Wan quickly answered it. "Oh, okay. Mr. Jiu, no problem. Jiu, Chanfeng. Does she know Jiu Chanfeng?" Just now, Shao Jin glanced at it inadvertently and saw the note on her phone. After she hung up, he asked casually, "Who called?" "My students' parents have something to do this weekend, so they told me not to go to tutoring. This way I can have 2 days off." The more Xiang Wan thought about it, the happier she became, and she didn't notice the strange expression on Shao Jin's face at all. Shao Jin. His wife goes to tutor her brother's younger brother. Shao Jin felt very uncomfortable. "I'm going to the bathroom." The moment Shao Jin picked up the phone, he had already called the other party. Before he even reached the bathroom, Jiyu Changfeng answered the phone. "Hey, President Shao, you still remember me in your busy schedule? You didn't even bring your beautiful wife out for me to see. Shao Jin, you have seen it." Shao Jin was secretly complaining in his heart. The Jiyu family and the Shao family are old friends. Apparently, Grandma Shao had already told the Jiyu family about his recent cohabitation with Xiang Wan to develop their relationship. "Hey, I think you are too mean. You lived with your nominal wife and didn't even tell me. And you plan to play the poor guy. I heard what Grandma Shao said. She said you were Shaw's driver." Jiyu Changfeng kept chattering like a woman. "My wife's name is Xiang Wan." Chapter 36: Buying a TV for Grandma Shao. Shao Jin lit a cigarette and took a puff. The smoke blurred his handsome face. "What's your wife's name got to do with me? What's your wife's name? Could it be the teacher who gave my brother extra lessons? What a coincidence." After Jiyu Changfeng calmed down, he thought about it and realized that Shao Jin might have just found out about this matter, otherwise he wouldn't have called him now after a month of tutoring. That woman is pretty and has a nice figure, but she's dressed too plainly and appropriately. If her makeup was a little more refined, she would definitely be a standard beauty. "Brother, you have good taste." Jiyu Changfeng has seen countless women, and he can make a general analysis of Xiang Wan with just a quick glance. After being criticized by Jiyu Changfeng, Shao Jin's face became extremely embarrassed. "Don't ever mention who I am in front of her again. If you reveal who I am, you'll be in trouble." He made this call because he was afraid that the guy would mention him at some point. Also, there's no need to take extra care of her. The more you take care of her, the more suspicious Xiang Wan will probably become. After hanging up the phone, Shao Jin returned to his seat. The food was served, and the two finished their meal and went home. Weekend. Xiang Wan did a big thing, which was to buy a new TV for Grandma Shao. When she arrived at the gate of Grandma Shao's community, she knocked on the door for a minute, but no one opened it. She asked the delivery man to leave first and she waited for an hour, but still no one came back. Xiang Wan couldn't wait any longer and sent a WeChat message to Shao Jin. "What's Grandma Shao's cell phone number?" Shao Jin's meeting hadn't ended yet, and the sudden message made him frown. Without even asking any further questions, he directly sent the number to her. After getting the number, Xiang Wan couldn't wait to dial Grandma Shao's cell phone number. "Grandma, I'm Xiang Wan. 1-1. Grandma Shao was smiling happily. She had asked Shao Jin for Xiang Wan's cell phone number before, but Shao Jin refused to give it to her, fearing that she would do something. "Grandma, I'm at your door now, where have you been?" "You're at my door." Grandma Shao thought of the old and dilapidated community that she had never been there since she left last time. He called the housekeeper while talking on the phone. "I'm doing something outside. I'll be back soon. Wait for me, 1-1. After hanging up the phone, Grandma Shao quickly instructed the housekeeper to find a driver to take her there. The Shao family didn't have a cheap car, so Grandma Shao had to ask the driver to take her to the gate of the community and she walked in by herself. Xiang Wan sat on the stairs and waited for about 20 minutes before Grandma Shao arrived. 1-1, why are you here?" Grandma Shao held her hand and looked at her with kindness. "Last time I came here I saw that your TV was old, so I bought you one." Xiang Wan put her arm around Grandma Shao and showed her the TV set beside her. "This TV is 55 inches and can be hung on the wall. I'll install a network for you later, and you can search and watch the TV series you want to watch. You still have a heart." Grandma Shao was delighted. She didn't expect that her granddaughter-in-law was so considerate and caring towards her so much. She was much better than that brat Shao Jin. Grandma Shao took out a key from her pocket and let Xiang Wan in. As Xiang Wan entered, a musty and damp smell hit her in the face. It was obvious that the room had not been ventilated for a long time. After she moved the TV in little by little, she went to open the window. Chapter 37. Help her. Grandma, you can't close the windows, or people will get sick. And there's also the gas stove in the kitchen. If you forget to turn it off, the consequences will be serious. Xiang Wan opened every window in the house to let in some air. This is the first floor, dark and damp, and doesn't get much sunlight. Xiang Wan suddenly felt that it was so pitiful for Shao Jin to leave Grandma Shao here alone. Grandma, how do you eat by yourself? Xiang Wan asked as she picked up a rag and cleaned the kitchen. There was a layer of dust on the rag, and it was obvious that she hadn't cooked for a while. It's not worth it for an old lady like me to cook. I just buy some from the store next door. Grandma Shao found an excuse and immediately brushed it off. Grandma, eating out is still not clean. Health is the most important thing. I will come to buy groceries for you every week and cook more meals. You can freeze them in the refrigerator and just heat them up when you eat. After Xiang Wan cleaned the kitchen, she washed all the pots and pans again. Taking a quick look here, I can see that there are a lot of things missing. The more Grandma Shao looked at Xiang Wan, the more she liked her. Don't bother. I'm used to eating out. She doesn't live here. As for food, the Shao family has a piece of land where they grow organic vegetables, so there is no need to worry about food safety. Grandma Shao didn't want to waste Xiang Wan's kindness. But Xiang Wan was very determined. No, I have nothing to do today. I'll go to the supermarket to buy some food and have someone install the TV in the afternoon. I'll prepare the food for you while I'm at it. Make more. Xiang Wan cleaned the house inside and out for Grandma Shao before going out to the nearest supermarket. As soon as Xiang Wan left, Grandma Shao called Shao Jin to report the matter. From now on, you just need to throw away the meals she gives you every week on their way back to the villa. Shao Jin also didn't expect that Xiang Wan asked him for her grandmother's cell phone number in order to give her a TV. That's the food my granddaughter-in-law made, I have to eat it all. Shao Jin. Grandma is such a picky eater, and the food Xiang Wan prepares is always the same, so she won't be able to get used to it. Come here right now and help Wan. This girl cleaned the house so cleanly inside and out. It makes me feel bad just looking at her. Just now, Grandma Shao tried to help several times, but was rejected by Xiang Wan every time. New. Shao Jin didn't want to pinch his brows and felt a headache. Xiang Wan is no longer busy with work, but has started to do other things. If she really delivered vegetables to her grandmother every week, then her grandmother would have to go to the dilapidated neighborhood every week. As Xiang Wan walked in, Shao Jin came in right after. How did you carry it all the way here? Put it down now. Grandma Shao looked at Xiang Wan carrying 2 large bags in her hands, which she estimated to be about 30 to 40 kilograms, and felt very distressed. Shao Jin frowned. She had bought quite a lot, including rice, frozen dumplings, eggs, some vegetables and meat, fruits, various semi-finished products, and some missing ingredients. That bag of rice alone weighs 10 kilograms. Why are you here? Xiang Wan looked at Shao Jin puzzledly. I asked him to help you. Grandma Shao said. Xiang Wan's mouth twitched. I'd better help. I hope this guy won't cause any trouble. Then make lunch first. I glanced at the time and it was almost lunch time. Shao Jin went in to help her. She asked Shao Jin to do some simple work, such as washing vegetables, picking vegetables, boiling water, etc. Grandma Shao looked at her grandson and saw that he had never done this kind of work since he was a child. She picked up her mobile phone, took a few photos, and sent them to the family group. In an instant, the family group was in an uproar.